Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'd like to welcome you to a very spooky episode. Obviously, we're dressed up here, and just in the spirit of Halloween for From the Sidelines, why wouldn't it be a better time than to dress up? If we do it every single year, why would we change it? And before I get into anything, let me bring in my amazing co-host, who actually I actually forgot to dress up, and he was like, "Yo, we dressing up?" But Brandon Brando Baird, tell me, what is your costume, my friend?
Hey, I'm the executioner. We're going along the lines with the whole stabbers don't get stabbed, right?
Okay.
I'm ready to lop heads off
Oh
now.
yeah.
So I be ready this weekend, boys. I mean, I got a celebration and everything. As soon as I stab someone, I gotta move. I need someone out there filming. So it's gonna be good.
Oh yeah. Can you guess
What,
what
what
I?
are you, what are you, Steve? Yeah, what
Oh,
are you?
dude, I'm a noble knight. You know what I'm saying? Got my cape and everything. Can't you tell? I'll be like this. I'll be like, "Oh, dude, fuck you." Just turn away in dramatic fashion, right? So, but it's feeling good. But before we get any deeper into it and we bring our special guest in, let me just say a special shout out to our sponsors. One of the reasons why we're even on the airs, Welts Clothing. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. Remember, guys, use code FTS for 10% off. Get you guys some dope drip. I got my little ice cream cone top on underneath this. Love that stuff. They got straps. They got hoodies. They got shorts. They got everything you could possibly think of. So make sure you guys shop at Welts Clothing. Use code FTS. Save yourself some money. Then we got Hormesis Paintball. Thank you, Hormesis Paintball, and everything that Hormesis Productions is doing. We already know they're coming up with some dope stuff. They're doing more one-on-one stuff. Brando's got a beautiful headband right there from Hormesis. So thank you to Hormesis for everything you guys do. And last but not least, something our guest is definitely very familiar with. Capital Edge Paintball Park. If you're in the Northern California area and you want to get some great spins in, you want to watch some pro paintball be played this weekend, come check it out at Capital Edge Paintball Park. You want to get turned to a better player, that's the place to go. You want good superior coaching, that's the place to go. So, before I get over ahead of myself and catch myself out of breath, let me introduce our very special guest who I've known for a long time. It's actually pretty crazy. I was learning how to spell your name, and so I was like going far back in the Instagram. And I'm like, damn, I remember when I met him when he was a little youngster. But the man, the myth, the legend, the Filipino warrior on Edmonton Impact, the killer, the man who won on a baseball stadium, Tyler Panlilio. Tyler, it is great to have you, brother. How are you doing,
I
brother?
think tonight I'm Ricky Bobby though.
Okay.
I'm over here dressed up. We got
Slingshot.
our top Ricky Bobby. Bottoms aren't on, but it's okay. Eyes are up here.
I recently learned this. So this is the full costume I have on. I recently learned this. Apparently, noble knights did not wear anything underneath.
No,
Nah, they don't need to.
Nor did they do leg day.
No, they did not do leg day, bro. They did not do leg day, bro. First of all, it's the lighting. First of all, but
It is. It is.
But Tyler, how are you doing, my brother? It's great to have you on. Thank you for coming.
I'm doing great, man. Things can't be any better. I'm on the pod playing paintball, and feeling healthy. So can't get better than that.
Absolutely. Okay, so one thing I want to start off and just get this one out of the way really quick. Everybody knows this because it's coming. How did you get into the game? Like how? Because I'm very curious about this.
I got in. It's the typical story. It was a birthday,
Yep.
But I want to kind of like rewind just a little bit more. My dad actually played tournaments way back when, like even before myself or my brothers were born. So paintball was kind of like already in the family. And then when we grew up, we went to a birthday party, and he was geeking out about all the old gear that he had and everything, and techniques that he would use and stuff. And after that first birthday party, I was probably, I don't know, like 9, 10 years old. And I fell in love with the game, and we had just moved back up to Sacramento, so we weren't really familiar with the fields that were around here. And then he found that Capital Edge had a 3-man tournament series. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, hey, let's try this out. And so by the time we had accumulated the the knowledge, the gear, and the confidence to actually play a tournament. It was probably like, oh, I might botch up the dates, but I think it was in 2015 or 2016. I'd have to look at my PB leagues,
Hmm.
but it was around then when we did our first 3-man tournament. And I've been playing paintball ever since then. But yeah, just that little birthday party that planted the seed in my brain, and I've been in love with the game ever since.
And so I'm looking at PB leagues, 2016, right? And what was the
Okay.
name of your first team?
It was three ninjas plus one.
Who was the plus one?
It was my uncle. So it was my dad, my older brother Brandon, um, myself, and then my uncle. And we were the three ninjas plus one because the max that you could have on that roster was four.
Hmm.
We're like, what do we want to be? And we're like, I don't know. We gotta do something that involves us being Asian. So we're like three ninjas, three ninjas. And they're like, oh, but there's more than three of us. We're like, plus one.
Oh, dude, so good.
Yeah. So we were three ninjas plus one. Spent probably a year, almost 2 years in 3-man. And then we went up to 5-man Division 5. We did a year there, and then we immediately had to get bumped up to D4, which was pretty quick for us because we thought we'd spend a lot more time in Division 5.
That's a fast turnaround.
What it is,
Yeah.
yeah. So we went to Division 4, started taking things a little bit more serious and actually practicing. Before we didn't practice at all. We would like our definition of practicing was going out and playing rec ball.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like it was foreign to us. So like, what? You could practice the layout? And so the Division 4 season, we actually started practicing the layout. And at that point, we were doing double days, so Saturday and Sunday. Before it was just on Sundays. But yeah, and then our camp slowly grew. Found more family members that wanted to play, and then that's how we came up with. It was Sac Ninjas was the main divisional team,
Mhm.
and then we had, I want to say it's Sac Ninjas Blue was our second team.
Okay.
So we were kind of using it as like a feeder as well, just to get their feet wet. And then like if we needed bodies, we would just pull from them.
Mhm.
But yeah, a lot of it was family. Like we had my other cousin Dylan, Ethan was on that team, and then Doug was on that team. Doug was also a ninja,
Was Kev Dog on that team?
and then yeah, Doug was on that team. So Doug is Ethan's stepdad, so he is also my uncle.
Oh.
But yeah, so he started on the ninjas, and then Ethan's mom played a couple of events too. So like she gets down as well.
Oh, that's
My
awesome.
aunt. Yeah, so Ethan's mom is siblings with my dad. So
Okay.
that's how that kind of connects. But yeah.
That's a deep
And
family root
then,
into paintball.
dude, it
Yeah,
is. We're
For
like, how
sure.
many more family members can we get to play? Um, but yeah, and then it came to a certain point where we ran out of family members, so then we started like just feeling the vibes of other people, like, okay, obviously we are a family team, so we wanted people that, we would likely see at, a family gathering, or like we
Mhm.
would want to invite them over. And so that's kind of like how we started picking people, choosing that family aspect over skill and everything else,
Mhm.
you know.
I agree with that.
But
Like
yeah,
if you can't trust them to like be in your house alone, bro, I don't even want those guys on my team. You know, how am I supposed to trust those
yeah, and I
guys to
mean,
watch over me?
right, and like we're all paying for it, right? So if I'm gonna pay to play something, I'm not gonna pay to be with teammates that I don't like, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, so that's kind of like how we ran things on the ninjas.
Okay, that's awesome. And so,
Yeah.
transitioning out of the ninjas and going into your further into your career, when does that start to take off? When did you start to take it a little bit more serious? When did you start to kind of be like, okay, I'm getting really good at this?
For me on the ninjas, I was one of like the top players on the ninjas, and I felt like it was my role to like bring others to my speed. And we did take a couple of podiums. When I was on the Ninjas, I don't believe we took a first place. But there was like, it was kind of like a weird funk on the team where it was people who were just showing up and it felt like they were going through the motions. And then I wouldn't say that like I felt like my talent was being wasted, but I felt like I could go a little bit further. And so the DMG tryouts would always spark some interest in me. And I was like, oh, I want to do it, but I don't know if I'm ready for that commitment. And I finally pulled the trigger and I was like, you know what, let me go out to a tryout, see what it's about, see where I place. And, you know, if I'm happy with it, then sure, I'll let it ride. I ended up going to one of the tryouts. I thought I played fairly well. It wasn't anything like stunner, but I thought I held my own. And it was Teo that picked me up for another Divisional 4 team. And from there, I was like, all right, let's do this. That was also my first year of traveling. So I went to Vegas, and just because I was still in high school, I was really involved with sports. I played football and track. So I didn't really want to miss those types of activities in you know, once in a lifetime opportunities, because paintball is always going to be there. So I told them up front, I was like, hey, I can make Vegas, you know, I can make all the CPLs, but the other 2-3 events, I believe it was 3 in between, I can't make, but I for sure can make cup. And he's like, okay, we'll work with that. And yeah, we went to Vegas. That was my first NXL ever.
What year was that?
And I don't know, Brando, can you see that?
I got
on?
you. Yeah, 2019.
2019. Okay.
2019. Yeah. So I mean, that wasn't that long ago.
No, not at all. It only feels long ago because it's pre-COVID. That's the only reason why it feels so long ago.
Yeah, it does. But it feels like ages ago. But that was my first X-Ball NXL, which was it was like a culture shock because I was just overwhelmed by how many fields there were, how many people, the atmosphere and everything. But yeah, I was taken care of by those guys. And then we played the Sepples. Some things fell apart mid-season. And then I found my way back with the Ninjas. And I probably stayed with the Ninjas the rest of that year. And then the following year, this is where it starts to get foggy in my memory. I can't remember if I did another year with the Ninjas or not, but I do remember guesting with DMG D3 for WCPPL.
Yeah, that was when I freaking blew my knee out, dude. My patella. No joke. Do you remember that Airbnb we were staying in?
Yeah.
Dude, there was a beehive in the house. This is how far back me and Tyler
I
go.
remember that.
Dude,
I remember
there was
that.
a random slab of bees in the house.
It was crazy.
And
there was an opening on the outside of the house too.
Like a
so
little
the bees
hole,
can
like
go
in
and out. Yeah.
Jesus.
And there was this one jar that we found when we first walk in there. We're like, oh, this place is sick. There's like taxidermy animals everywhere. There's, you know, a fridge, you know, pretty normal Airbnb, but weird. There's this ginormous photo of Vladimir Putin with 2 AK-47s riding a grizzly bear on the fridge, on the side of the fridge. We're just like, okay, this is getting a little weird. There's bees in the walls. That place is actually incredibly haunted. But we'll get into some of those stories later.
Yeah, and like before he forgets, you got to rewind before we even get in the house. In the notes, it had said that you have to cross like a body of water.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
but,
and Cedar's like, dude, my company car, bro.
When we first pulled up, the water was low, and we're like, oh, this is like a little sketchy, but we can make it. And then when we were leaving in the morning, the water had risen.
Yep.
And so it's like at the bottom of the door jams, and we're like afraid water's going to come through. And we're sitting in this rental van, and I think it was Teo driving. He's like, we're sending it. And he just full speed and it was weird. Like you go downhill water and then you have to climb back up. and we just sent it.
Yep.
I was like, oh my
Thank God
gosh.
it's a rental.
That was a
Dude,
great
driving
Yeah, it
with your
was
feet
Airbnb.
so
up.
sketchy. It was so sketchy.
So it's crazy
Um,
that you and I have been teammates before, Tyler, for a single event.
yeah, I think that was honestly the first time that I actually met you and like conversed with you. I like obviously through the camp you just recognize people's faces, but you don't really get to sit down and like talk to them or have an actual conversation. I mean, the way I grew up through the camp is, I was Division 4 going in, right? And
Mhm.
at that time, DMG was a huge camp. We had the semi-pro
Huge.
guys, and even our D3 lines were super solid. So like, I went into it as like the little fish, and I just wanted to be a sponge. And I think part of that is like my football background is like, all right, you're the rookie, you know nothing. These guys do. They're established. So I just went to work every day and I just shut up. And any advice I can get for those higher division guys, I would just take it. And like those guys were my idols, and I was like, I want to be like them, or I want to be noticed by them. If I get noticed by them, I know I'm doing something right.
Mhm.
And if they don't say anything, then there's probably something I could have done better. So like going into it too, like guessing with you guys, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm with the D3 guys. Like I held you guys on such a high pedestal that I was like, I got to show out for these
Mhm.
guys. Like I gotta prove my worth. So, but yeah, that was a fun little tournament, and it was a shock to me because, and I don't know if you remember this, but Cedar always remembers this, and he lets me know every single time. At the end of that tournament, I was like, I
Oh,
don't think
I'm
I'm
not
ready for
ready. Yep, I
D3.
do remember this. You tell every single time.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not ready for this. Like the pace was so fast. Like at that time, I felt like I was way faster than I am right now. Like off the gate, I felt like I was so explosive, and I was just playing catch the whole weekend. And there was one where I went to their brick, so it was like their Dorito 40,
Mhm.
right? And I made it alive, and somehow this guy goes through. He doesn't even shoot. He doesn't even shoot at me. I shoot him, and then I start rapping, and like it the stats are on my or the odds are in my favor, right?
Mhm.
Like we should be winning this point. And out of nowhere, a rogue running referee comes in. I get a major off that.
I do remember that actually.
They pull two bodies, and then Taylor's just looking at me like, "What did you do?" And I was like, "I did nothing. No one even shot at me." And then we had lost that point, and then we lost that match. And I believe we needed to win that match to
Yes.
even have a chance to make it to the next day. And at that point, I'm like, well, shit, I've been playing catch all weekend. I feel like I was the only one that got a major that week. And, I felt so bad. I was like, man, maybe I'm not ready.
Uh huh.
I'm like down in the slum, and I'm like, I'm not cut out for this. I let these guys down. Um, and yeah, I was just like, I remember we go back to the house, and I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this,
Holy shit.
and that was me. I don't know if it's like putting myself down, but like just putting myself in check that like, no, I could be doing so much more. Like I'm not at the level that, I want to be at to compete at this division.
It's better to have
Um,
that than just like raw arrogance where you're like, oh, I'm just gonna come in here and
Hmm.
fucking be a starter.
yeah.
That like ruins people's like taste in their mouth about you. But
Hmm.
so Tyler, one question with that: how do you, when you're like you said you're playing catch and you went up and you got a penalty and you got a major as the rookie in that situation? How do you bounce back from that mentally? What kind of gears were going in your mind where you're like, man, like fuck, how do I prove to everybody that I'm better than this? Because you're better than that.
Yeah. Would you say like, how did I think about it back then, or how would I think about it now?
How are you processing it back then? And if you could go and the knowledge you have now and the experience you have now, if you could give advice to anybody who's struggling with that same thing, what would you give?
Back then, I was definitely super hard on myself. Like you're not doing enough. That there's like maybe you need to be faster. That's what I thought. I thought paintball was a game where like the faster you are, the fitter you are, like the better off you'll be. It's honestly it's not. I think it comes down to paintball IQ. You could be the slowest person, you could be the biggest person, but if you have the brains to play the game, you can go so much further. Um, but yeah, at that point in time, I was definitely like just kicking myself. And I think Marv was also coaching us at
Yes,
that
I do
point.
remember that.
I went to him and I was like, hey, I'm done. Take me out, and my thought process behind it was, I'm not getting the job done. I realize that I'm gonna sit on this one, and next man up. Like the last thing I want to do is be in my funk and be taking reps from someone else who could be excelling.
Mhm.
You know, so that's how I dealt with it back then. How I deal with it now is, it's not the mistake that kills you; it's how you react to the mistake. Um, I'm a firm believer that you can dwell on the loss or the mistakes after the fact, but in that moment, during that match, like you have to focus on that. You have to understand, especially as a one, that you're going to catch some off the break, and at times you're going to lose gunfights. But in all reality, like as a one, we really only expect them to make their spots, get a trade or get a kill, and then, you know, obviously we want you to live for the end of the point, but that's not the reality, right? As a
Yeah,
one,
100%.
you're the guy in the trenches. You're doing all the work, and if it works out, it works out great. You know,
You're lucky if you're alive at the
but
end of a point.
yeah, exactly. But I think now it's like, all right, that point's behind us. Like let's get the next one, and like let's be a bully every single point.
Clean slate.
Yeah, and just move on from it. You can wait till the end of the day when you go back and you watch film and be like, all right, I probably shouldn't have done that. Like you're an idiot. Why would you make that move? That's that time to dwell on it, but not during the point.
Mhm.
Especially when if you're an X ball, you have 2-minute turnarounds. You don't have time to be thinking about that. And then if you're split deck, you have probably tops 4 minutes. If that.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be a goldfish. You have to have a short-term memory and go back and address those issues later.
Yeah, and I remember that tournament pretty vividly because that was the first time I ever like suffered with an injury because I was that guy that was the main starter Dorito guy, and then when I got hurt, they were like, "All right, Ty, get in there, bro." And so that was like a
Yeah,
huge like just throwing you into that. And I mean,
right.
if like you feel like you were playing catch right there, that would just I think overall with that exact situation, the stars were just aligning not in our favor, right? Where it's like we couldn't just sprinkle you in a point here and there, right? When I
Right.
dislocated my knee, we're like, all right, well we need a Dorito guy that's fast. Like Ty, get the fuck in there. Like we believe in you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that now that's in the review mirror. Tell us how you ended up leapfrogging us and ended up going to the D2 and getting up to that very higher echelon of paintball.
I don't. So I do remember not going to the tryout that year, or something had happened. I think I did like day 2 of the tryout, so it was like the second tryout or something.
Okay.
Um,
Like the January tryout.
yeah, I think I remember doing a tryout. I never really linked up with anyone as far as like captains wise. I was just there. Um, nope, I take that back. No, I take that back.
Flashbacks.
Um, yeah, so I think what
So long
what had
ago.
happened was okay, here's what it was. The first tryout went, I didn't go. I was like, no, I'm done with this. You know, with the falling out of, the whole DMGD4, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this again. Like, you know, I'm good with the ninjas. And then I heard that they were building this like stunner D2 team,
Yep.
right? And like Doss
Which it
had come
was. It
back.
was a stunner D2 team.
Yeah, it was Calvin, Doss was there,
Sky was
Evan
on
was
that
supposed to be
team.
the captain, Sky was on there.
I think Josh Eccles was also on
Who
there.
Eccles was on it. I think he had guessed it on it a couple of times. He
Okay.
wasn't like a hard yes. But man, sorry for the guys that I'm leaving out. But I know Nico was on it as well,
Nico, yep.
right? And so the first tryout goes, that squad's like assembling, and I'm not really feeling it. And I was talking to Dave, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about going to another tryout?" And I was like, "I don't know, I'm not feeling it." And he's like, I think you should go to a tryout. And so I ended up going to the second tryout, and that's when Calvin approached me and he said, "Hey, I think we're gonna keep an eye out on you for this." tryout, and I was like, all right, cool. So I'm rolling with these guys. And so I basically got spins with them. I felt like I played lights out,
For
like
sure.
because I had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really want to be here, so like I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna play. I'm rolling with these guys.
Why'd you not want to be there?
Um,
When you say that, you're like, oh, I don't want. I didn't want to be there. Why?
it wasn't. I say like I didn't want to be there, as in like there wasn't this urge that I was like I need to be here if I want to go pro. Like I don't regret the road that I took or the mindset that I had, but going pro never really was my end goal. For me, it was just being competitive. Like I wanted to compete, and I wanted to be on a team that was skill wise the same as mine. Like I felt like on the Ninjas I was a guy, and I'm not saying that to like put the other guys down. I just felt like I was the go-to guy, right?
For sure,
I
as
had the
guys were
speed.
refing you, without a doubt, for sure.
Yeah, I felt like I had the speed. I was really at that time. I was really good at low body situations, um, and so I didn't want to be that guy anymore. I wanted to be surrounded by a bunch of guys,
Yeah.
um, and I wanted to win. I wanted to know what it felt like to win. And so when I first did the tryout, I was like, I got to find guys like this, and things didn't shake out. And then by the second tryout, I was like, what do I have to lose? If I find another team, cool. But if not, I'll just go back to the Ninjas and, keep playing paintball. And so I played lights out, ended up sticking out with the D2 guys. And I want to say by the end of that season, the DMG Pro Squad was like losing bodies, and then they're also on the brink of relegation.
Yeah.
And so we had lost bodies as well. So there wasn't really enough for us to field a team. We would have to like bring in a bunch of people to guest with us, which would be pointless,
That's a
just
hard thing to
different
do.
chemistries and everything. It is, especially mid-season. And so I don't know who made the decision, but the D2 squad and the pro line meshed together. We merged. And so they brought us all up to pro. But before we went to pro, it was like, I want to say we had 3 or 4 weekends before World Cup to where they were like, okay, we have, I want to say it was like 13 guys or something.
Yes.
And they're like, our max is 12. We really only want to take 10, but our max is 12. And so at that point, we were kind of like, all right,
You're playing for a
who's gonna get
spot.
cut,
Yeah, dude,
right?
you're
Yeah.
And then they would
13
always be
guys.
like, next week we'll have an answer. Next week we'll have an answer. Next week comes, they're like, we're gonna need another week. And so we wait another week, and we're like, all right, this is the week someone's getting cut, and they're like, we need one more week, and I think that's also the year Jabo got hurt.
I remember that he actually
Yeah.
got cut. I'm pretty sure he got hurt like 2 or 3 weeks before Cup. Isn't he? I'm pretty sure knee injury, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Jabo got hurt, and so we didn't actually need to cut anyone. So he went to staff, and even though we took 13 guys, only 12 were officially on the roster, and so that's how that panned out. And that World Cup, I balled out. I wasn't expecting to see the field at all, but I was ready. I felt like at practice I was playing nails, and I heard my number being called, and I was like, let's go. And I felt like I held my own in World Cup, and then stayed with the pro line the following year. And then that year we were also facing relegation, and unfortunately we got relegated, and I was in the free agency for a little bit, kind of like scrambling on what to do, get the phone call from Impact, and then yeah, here we are.
How did that
So
conversation go?
wait, hold on.
Go ahead,
Before
Randall. Sorry,
we
sorry.
move
Go
on
ahead.
to Impact,
Yeah.
I want to know how was it? How was the team going along? The dynamic of the team for that 2022 season for DMG. How was it facing relegation and then going into that World Cup? Uh,
Um, definitely tensions were high.
I remember.
Um, tensions were really high, and there's like a lot of small mistakes that led to big blowups. And I think that was because everyone knew how serious this was. It's not great facing relegation, right? And facing it 2 years back to back, like that
Mhm.
sucks,
That's
you
scary,
know.
dude. You're struggling to swim.
It is because like instead of taking a little bit of risk, you're now playing more conservative because you don't want to make a mistake, right? Because you know if you make a mistake, you lose that point. If you lose that point, you know, you could lose that match, and then there's your pro spot, you know.
You're kind of
Um,
playing not to lose rather than to go out and win.
right, yeah. At least that's how it felt.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would say it was the tensions were high, but also the competitiveness was up too because everyone wanted to be that guy to start. You know, it was kind of
Mhm.
like up in the air. I'm like, all right, who's gonna be our five? You know, who's gonna save us from relegation? And
You
so,
wanted to be that hero.
100%, yeah.
Sick story,
Um,
bro.
yeah, and I
Sick
mean, like,
story.
yeah, and that year, I believe we went through like so many coaches too. Like, we didn't have a solid coach that year. We were always scrambling. I think we started with Howe. Well, we started with Terry, and then um, Terry was like, "Hey, I wanna take like a manager role. You know, like I'm here to support you guys, but I don't know if this is, you know, where what's best for the team. You know,
Mhm.
Mhm.
he's like, I still want to be here, but you know,
It's a ton of pressure.
what else could we do? You know,
Mhm.
and so I think Howe was a player at that point, and he transitioned to a coach. He's like, yeah, I think I could be a good coach. He stayed with us for I want to say an event or two, and then he left. And then after that, World Cup was coming by. Or sorry, after that, I think we were just player coaching for a couple of events, and then there was an event where the Boyan brothers guested with Excessive,
I remember that.
and
I guess with
yeah,
another team
and
over there. I
so
remember that.
Eddie was their coach, and they're like, hey, I think Eddie would bring a lot to our team. And so Eddie comes in with Roberto, and he coached us for World Cup. We made it to the second round of playoffs, and we thought we definitely made it because all we thought was that we had to make Sunday.
Mhm.
We made Sunday going into our first match. So like, hey, you have to win this match and make it to the um, second round to secure your spot. So we win that match, and then we go into the second match, and they're like, hey, actually, you got to win this match, and then you'll secure your spot. And we end up losing that, and however the numbers shook out, we didn't make it. And
Just a
yeah, kind
roller
of like
coaster of emotions.
100%.
I
You know,
remember.
you're just backed into a corner. When you think you're in the corner, another corner opens up, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
Um,
I remember being in the
but yeah,
pits, being in the pits, helping you guys for that morning game, right? And then we're like, oh shit, like we got to go play our playoff game. So we're running back, getting all our paint ready, and it's like we get all set up. We're watching on a phone the playoff game, right? And I'm pretty
We're the
sure,
next set on our field,
yeah,
and
we're the next
we're
yeah,
set,
gathered around watching.
and I'm pretty sure that was when that match was when Dylan went into the one on one against Al Fernandez against for the Ironman,
yep,
right? And I remember
yep.
we were like, all right, guys, like 30 more seconds. Like this match is on X ball. It's gonna end soon. We're like, dude, let's just keep watching, bro. Let's just keep watching. Like I remember that one like so vividly. And even weeks after that World Cup, there was a lot of like debate where it's like, oh, like is DMG relegated? And then like I think like a week and a half later, they're like, all right, numbers are finally crunched. DMG officially relegated and blah blah. Because there were even
Mhm.
like there were even other teams that were kind of in that relegation category that were like 1 or 2 or 3 points just shy away. And then when the way the math cracked down, DMG just ended up being relegated.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
um, so now what is the difference between that DMG team and now that you're on the Titan Edmonton Impact?
Um, so when I first joined the team, uh, I was overwhelmed with just like the small little for lack of a better term, paintball IQ tidbits that, I learned going into that. Like there's so much thinking. I remember the first month with them, after each practice, I was like, my brain hurts. Like
Information overload.
yeah, dude, there's between like the codes and everything and when to use them. And like there's some intricate codes.
For sure.
Like, like we've all been on that team. We're like, I think we should have a code for this. And someone says, no, I don't think we need a code for that. We can just say it, like we can just have a conversation and say it.
Impact
We
doesn't
got the
do that.
codes.
Yeah, Impact does not do that. They
We've
talk
got the
code.
codes, so they think everything through. And for me, I was like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Like, okay, it's more than just beating your guy heads up or just playing 5-on-5, right? There's a lot of setting up traps or if this then that.
Tons of variables in the game of paintball, especially at the pro
Yeah,
level.
and so my rookie year it was like learning, or my first year on Impact, it was learning a lot of the codes, their play style, but also like trying to figure out who I am as a player. I felt like I was a very heads up individual player, where I would just win most of my gunfights just on pure skill. But when you're on the best of the best, right, and you're playing against your own five, you quickly realize that that's not going to cut it, especially in the pro circuit, right?
Mm-hmm.
On DMG, it felt like uh, it was like, all right, this guy's a great player. We'll leave him over there, let him do his work. And, if that guy got shot out, it was like, that guy had a really good shot. On Impact, it's like, why? Why would you make that move? Like, you don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
He puts you in, just let him have it. He
Mhm.
earned it. And find another way. And that extra find another way was never in my vocabulary. I was like, no, I have to win this. Like,
Wow.
I'm asserting dominance, and you learn those mistakes very quickly. Um, and yeah, you kind of have to change the way you play, but it elevates your play style more in a sense of like just being better fundamentally and skill wise,
Mm-hmm.
but also like having a bigger brain on the field, and actually thinking out the scenario and what to do.
Wow.
But yeah.
I mean, there have
So
been a ton of times where you break the game down for me, and you're like, dude, why are you even doing that move? Like, when you get here, do you need to be doing this and communicating with these guys, right? And I've always appreciated that when you convey that knowledge down. But Brandon, it looked like you were going to say something.
so going from literally the team that got relegated, right, from one year to top three team the next year. It was the info, right? Information overload going into it. But was it like not even just for you thinking, damn, find another way. Never thought about that. But taking it back to DMG of like, why didn't we do that? Would that have simplified more things, or if we knew this system or this way to do things, could it have helped um, within that year?
I definitely think if we had learned the things that I know now in the beginning of the year, I think it definitely would have helped.
Mm.
And I remember there was one point, and I think it was one of the practices that Impact was in town prior to World Cup, that Bart actually came over and he was like giving us plays. He was giving us, tips and, just some big brain ideas, right? Going into it because he wanted to help us. Like we were their sparring. One, it makes his sparring team better, right? But also like Bart is such a great guy. Like he did not want to see us lose our spot, and so he
100%.
was he was also rooting for us, right? Other than Impact, he was rooting for us. So he genuinely wanted us to have all the tools in our toolbox. But it's so hard to learn and remember that stuff on such short notice. Like
Mm-hmm.
I to this day, I'm still learning things on Impact, right? I would not say I know the whole game to a T. So there, it takes a while to learn a new system, but to also change the way that you've essentially been playing paintball your whole life,
Yeah.
So
Wow.
there are things that I think Bart did help us with when we were on DMG, but it wasn't enough time for us. It wasn't
Valid.
enough time for us to set egos aside and be like, okay, I'm going to believe in this system, because that's ultimately
Yes.
what it is. It's a system, right? And if one person believes it, who cares? You need
Mhm.
all five, all 10 guys to believe in the system for it to work. To even know that the system works or not. Even if the system doesn't work, you don't know,
Yeah.
because only one person's following it. It's the same thing with a game plan. You don't know if it's a shitty game plan unless everyone follows it to a T.
Yeah, I was listening
So
to the Shell the podcast recently. They had Mike Himman on there, and he was saying, he's like, a game plan with a 50-50 chance of winning is way better if all five guys believe in it than a play that is guaranteed gonna work, but not everybody believes in it.
right,
So it's way better off to have a team where everybody buys into that mindset. So,
100%.
what is the most valuable lesson that you've learned on Impact?
I think it's patience. Um, and patience can spider into other categories, but ultimately it's patience. It's not trying to rush things, because I feel like paintball is a game of timing, right? When you're
Absolutely.
playing catch, it's because your timing's not on, or your timing's too predictable, So just giving yourself patience and realizing that it's not your time right now. Even if you're like in the point, right, and you're like, I have to win this gunfight. If he puts you in, patience, right? Okay, cool. He puts you in. He goes up one bunker. That's fine, right? If you can't shoot your gun, you can't move. Be the best communicator you could be, and that adds to the patience part. But also, like, you have to think of it in a bigger perspective, is like, if I die right now because I don't have patience,
Yes.
and my snake side's going to work, right? And they get to the snake 50, all they needed was for me to stay alive, but then I die, and now that guy just runs down the wire and shoots everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, dude, why didn't you just wait? There's and the reality of it is you have four other guys with you. So, if you did all that you can do and you can't do anything, just relax, have
Yes.
faith in your other four boys, that they're gonna figure it out. And I think a lot of what I see at Cap Edge is just a lack of timing. And it's like, hey, you don't need to make that move. Like, look, your
100%.
guys are moving over here, and if you have all the pressure, that means there's pressure that's not on them now, so
Yeah.
it's not your time. Um, Obviously, there's other things that play into it, but I think ultimately, like, the biggest thing is patience.
Okay.
Um,
That's definitely
so
a huge
that's
tool.
yeah, and because, like, again, you're in the zone, and you just get into the rhythm, you're in your groove, you're like, all right, I got this. Believe in me, guys, I
Yeah.
got this. But you really have to set that ego aside. And everyone that goes out there and says, I don't have an ego, it's like, yes, you do, because you got shot. It wasn't your time. That's an ego. Being able to take yourself out of that moment during the play is the hardest part. But
Yes.
once you learn to do it, like, it makes things so much easier for you. And it makes it easier for you in the sense that, like, okay, I'm gonna feed the snake side 2 or 3 kills. That's less work I gotta do, right?
Yeah.
And then now I can shine.
Yes.
So it it it's a whole team sport. It's not just you.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So you said it's hard to take yourself out of that situation, right? And realize, oh, let me take a deep breath and whatnot. Um, how did you do that? How did you learn to take yourself out of that situation and oh, let me just take a breath, calm down, have the patience, communicate.
I think for a lot of people, it's it'll be different, but for me, um, it took a lot of mistakes, and I feel like something about me is I hate letting people down. And when I die and then I get approached by, like, Brandon Cornell or Nick Laval, and they're like, why? Why did you make that move? Like, their words definitely stick with me in the sense that I'm like, damn, I just let them down, and that, honestly, it kills me
Hmm.
to have to sit in that feeling. And so I feel like I've learned to be more patient, by not wanting to feel that and not wanting to put them in a position like that. Um, but what I tell a lot of people, like especially the paint guys, um, is just like, hey, when you make it to your spot, just take 10 seconds. Don't do anything. Just listen. Don't head check. Don't don't snap with anyone. Just sit there for 30 seconds and just breathe. And like that's all that I can do to actually help someone, other than telling them in the middle of the point, like, hey, just take a break. That's something that I can do as a bystander or as a coach to be like, hey, first 10 seconds, I don't want you to do anything. Right. I just
Yeah.
want you to be alive, take a break. And then, in hopes that they're like, okay, this is what it feels like to just be separated from the game, to take a break, and then hopefully they can feel that out throughout the rest of the match. But that's where it starts getting hard.
Definitely.
Is like as a coach and as a bystander, you can give someone the best breakout. You can give them the best advice for the first 10 seconds of the point, but after that, like it's ultimately in their hands, right? So it's whatever they remember, or um, ultimately like what they remember to do throughout that point is what's gonna dictate the rest of that point. I could tell you to be the best communicator, but in the first 10 seconds you're the best communicator and then you forget about it. Like at that point, that's on you, right? The only thing
Mhm.
that I can coach you on is your mistakes. And um, mistakes are good, but I think making the same mistake over and over and over, that's what's not good. Like
Literally insane.
Yeah.
practice, you're supposed to make mistakes, right? That's how you learn. But if you're not learning from it and you're making the same mistakes, it's like, what are we doing here? We're kind of wasting our time.
Absolutely. And you kind of subtly hinted on that. How did the whole opportunity of coaching with Pink come along? How did you go about that? And because we just got back from WCPPL, tell us about your whole experience with Pink, on how you got on there, how it's been going.
So Pink had approached me a couple of times. Um, Shoot, Brando, you still got PB leagues up?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't remember, like when it comes to years, I don't remember year. Like I believe this is my second full season with them, and then so it probably
Yeah.
was in like 24 that I did
24.
one
Yeah.
one. Yeah, so it was like the last event. Sorry, my light died.
All
But it
good.
was the last event of the WCPPL in 24, correct?
Oh, I wonder if it
Or
was 23 then, because 24
it
I
could have been
see
23.
I see three events, so it might have been 23.
Okay. I think it was 23. They had approached me. They're like, "Hey, what do you think about coaching us?" And I was on like the cusp of saying yes and saying no. The reason why I took so long to get back to them is I felt like I was just learning myself as a player and proving myself as a pro. So I didn't feel like I was at the best as a player to even take a coaching role, right? Like it's easier for people to be like, why would I listen to him? Like he just went pro, and that's what I didn't want it to be. I didn't want it to be like, hey, I know everything. I'm the pro. Like you can get picked up by any pro team, even if you're D5. Like it doesn't matter. You can get carried your whole career. And I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted it to be like, okay, I feel comfortable as a player enough to share my knowledge with them and be the best coach that I think a coach should be, especially at the prices that they pay for pro coaches. Like I want to live up to that price and I don't want to feel like I'm selling them short.
Yeah.
And I'd done some talking with some family, some other teammates, and then with my cousin Ethan, and he was like, why not? Like besides the money, like you definitely have been playing longer than them. There's things that that they don't, and it could fast track them. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Worst case scenario, I do these last of two events or something with them, and if they don't like me, then they
Find
can
someone else.
just be like, we're done. Yeah. And so I was like, that's a good point. And so I got back to them. I said, yeah, let's do it. They were jazzed. Um, and yeah, I've been with him since.
Man, I take some of the credit. You don't mind if I do? Um, Cody.
You
It,
planted the seed, I remember.
it was Michelle actually, because Cody came up to
Yeah,
me asking if there was any of the DMG guys willing to coach them, and I was like, not that I know of. And they're like, all right, I'll just keep looking. And I mentioned it to Michelle, and Michelle was like, oh, well, we were just asking Tyler if he'd coach us at World Cup or something. I was like, well, here you go, Cody. Yeah. So
yeah.
that was Michelle getting those dots connected. That was funny.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I remember the girls coming to me and like at first it was a joke, right? They're like, "Oh, you should coach us, you should coach us," and I was like, "I don't know, I don't know." And again, at that point, I was so quick to say yes. Like when I say I don't know, I really meant no, but in like a
Yeah.
nicer way.
Mm.
Yeah, I was really like, I don't feel confident enough in myself to even give people direction. Like I feel like I do a good job explaining things to people, and I love to teach people, and like not just paintball, like in other things. Like if we're cutting a lawn or something and you're doing it wrong, or I know a faster way to do it, like I'm gonna mansplain to you,
Amen,
and
brother.
I love that part of me that like I pay attention to all the small details and how to be perfect, or to be the most efficient. And I wasn't afraid of the actual coaching part and how to deliver the message. It was just if I had a message or things to give them that was of value,
Mm.
Mhm.
that's what I was unsure about. And again, like I didn't want it to be like, okay, I just gotten pro, I know everything, I'm a god, you should listen to me, and not acknowledge the fact that like, yeah, I'm still learning stuff too. I definitely fast tracked my way up to pro, and you know, I do think I earned it, but at the same time, I do think there's still a lot of things that I can learn from the sport. You know,
Yeah.
um,
100%.
they always say like, okay, once you make pro, like, cool, I achieved my goals. It's like it's really not. It's like, okay, I made pro. I want to be a top pro.
Yeah,
And I'm
Dylan
I'm far from that.
I remember Dylan Boyum told me this. He's like, man, it takes 10,000 hours to get to pro. It takes 10,000
Yeah,
hours just to stay alive in it. And I
yeah.
was like, that's a
It's a whole
lot,
different animal.
right? And
Yeah, and it's yeah.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
As I say, I would compare it to running. Like you always want to go for like a faster time, but then when you reach that goal of a faster time, you're just like, okay, what next?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, I achieved my goal. It's one of those things where it's like once you reach your goal, it's like you have to find another goal in order to keep yourself in it and keep yourself hungry. Otherwise, you're just going to plateau. And I think for paintball, it's okay, I made it pro. That's a hard part. Don't get me wrong. But now it's like, okay, you can stay pro and be okay with that, but there's really no other goals for you other than, okay, I want to be the best pro. I want to be a top 50, a
Mm-hmm.
top 10 pro, or I want to be, an impact player on the team. But like that's hard to measure. Like how do you measure, oh, he was an impactful player, other than being like the MVP every single event. But then that means you have to win the event too, right? They
Yeah,
don't give MVP to players who take six, you know.
absolutely correct.
Um, so yeah, I think it's always having goals.
So you touched on it briefly about your running. Tell me about some of the regiments you go through because I know you're a very active person. Tell me what you do to keep your activity going.
A lot of it has been running. I think I really got into running in 2023. That was like my therapy. That's when I could think things over and just it sounds cliche, but you just drown out all the noise,
Yeah,
especially when you're running multiple miles. Like 1 mile, that's
that's
like
nothing.
everyone starts very low, right? 1 mile just feels like forever. But now I felt like I've built up my endurance that like 5, 6 miles, I'm like, okay, that was a nice light run. but it's definitely a unique activity where it's all on you, right?
Yes.
And it's also weird too because you hear people talking about that little voice. It does come out. It does every single
Mhm.
opportunity during that run, whether it's 1 mile or 15 miles, that voice comes out and it's in your ear and it's like, you're hurting. You can stop right
Yep.
now.
You could
You
just
can
quit.
walk for 10 seconds. Okay, once we get to that light, you can take a quick 30-second break. That's that little voice in your head. When you go out for a run, you set your goal like, okay, I want to finish at this time, or I want to run a whole 1 mile without stopping, right? That's your goal. Anything from that's that voice inside of your head. And so being able to win that battle every single run, it builds grit into you, but it also proves that your limits go a lot further than you think, and
100%.
and once you give in to that little voice, it kind of feels defeating because you're like, man, I let that voice win for just a moment of ease,
For sure.
like I didn't stick through it. I don't feel like I earned that. um
And once you do it once, that voice, it's like, oh, I've already done it once. It makes it a little bit easier to do this the second time. Then the third time, easier.
100%.
Then the fourth time, easier. Then the fifth time, why the fuck am I even showing up? You know?
Yeah, but to go back to your original question, running has been a big part of my fitness regimen. Fortunately, I have a Garmin, and Garmin comes up with like a running plan based on your ultimate goal. Like, so if you're training for a race and you want to finish at this time, it'll come up with workouts every day, and it'll break it down to like, okay, today we're doing 3 miles at a 9:50 pace, and then tomorrow we're doing a nice long 30-minute run. So it takes
Really,
off a lot.
sorry, really
Go
quick,
ahead.
can you explain the garment?
Okay, so the Garmin is a watch, and where
That's
you
what it's
get your
called. It's called
workouts,
garment.
it's called Garmin. Yeah, there's multiple different types of Garmins, and obviously the more you pay for a fancier watch, the more
Features and
like
bells and whistles.
amenities you get. Yeah, but even their base models will have the ability to generate Garmin Coach, and Garmin Coach is through the app. And generally speaking, you set up a race, whether it's an actual race that's planned professionally or if you're making your own race. But you set the race, you set the date, you set your goal, whether it's a finish at this time or just a finish without walking, right? Those are your two options. And then from there, it'll calculate the workouts that you need to complete in order to stay on track. And it'll also change your workouts depending on um, like how you slept or how strenuous the activity was yesterday, right? So it definitely is tailored to you. But I've been using it for 5Ks, half marathons.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm using it for a marathon in December, and it definitely makes it easier to run because what's hard is just going out and running when you have no plan. So having a plan keeps me honest, and it's like, okay, I have this run today for an hour at this pace. Like I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that check mark. Um, and so that definitely makes it easier. I would like to say that I would still be running without it. But again, having an activity with no goal, it's easy to lose focus and lose that determination. It's easy to be like, I don't have a race. I'm okay to take today off,
Okay.
I could do it
Okay.
tomorrow.
So I got a
Yeah,
statement and I got a question. My statement is, it's gonna be absolutely insane when we get to the point where I can use AI to scan this podcast, and now my garment would just be Tyler Panlilio in my ears. While I work out.
really.
That's where I'm getting to the point where I want AI. I want you to be my
Wow.
my fitness guy. But second thing, actually, I fucking low-key
Oh,
forgot my second thing, bro. This is the hard part about
okay,
hosting.
okay. Can I go really quick while you
Absolutely,
think about
absolutely,
that?
absolutely. Thank you for picking it up.
I will say too, I have used AI. I've sat down on ChatGPT in the beginning of the year, and I looked at all the races that I wanted to do. One of them being an Ironman. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I am planning for 2026 to do an Ironman. Now that I said it, that's reinforcement that I have to follow through, right?
Yeah. So
Um,
it's on the
but
air.
so yeah, so I put it into ChatGPT and I said, all right, I plan on doing a half marathon, a marathon, and an Ironman. These are the times that I want to get from a half marathon, from a marathon, and I want to complete the Ironman. And so it was like, okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. Here are the times for those races. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, now I want you to generate a plan Sunday through Saturday that will allow me to hit my times for each of my races. And I was like, I want it to be a running plan, and I also want it to be a lifting plan. And on the lifting plan, I put all my 1 rep maxes, and I was like, I want you to break it down to the sets, reps, and the weights per set.
Yeah.
And then I took it a step further, and I said, on top of that plan, Sunday through Saturday, I want you to also have a meal plan to keep me honest and to balance the calorie deficit from the activities. And so I literally have a Word document, and it probably took like 30 minutes to generate all of this, right? But it broke it down completely to the point where I could
That's a
be
lot of
like,
chat GBTing in 30
dude,
minutes.
where I could be like, all right, July 1st, this is my workout. This is how many calories and how many carbs, proteins, and fats I have to hit, like in order to be in the ballpark. Like I broke it down. I was like, all right, if everyone's using AI, whoa, if everyone's using AI in their lives, let me try and use it as a fitness coach,
100%.
And so for anyone out there who's trying to start something and you don't want to even go on Garmin, like use AI. Like that's what
Type
it's
in a
there for.
prompt
It's a
of a
tool.
goal. Like, I want to run a mile in
Yeah.
under 7 minutes and 30 seconds. I guarantee it'll give you a
Yeah.
workout on how to do that.
100%. And I think where we as a society have to change is what questions do we want to ask AI to generate the results that we want, right? A lot of people just want the answers right away, but in order to get those answers that you're looking for, you almost have to come up with the questions for it to generate that for you. And like one of those being like, okay, these are the times. This is like come up like you guys all like got surprised when I broke it down. Like, okay, here are my 1 rep maxes. I want the weights per set. Like you guys got
Mm-hmm.
surprised, but like that's the things that you have to break down to it. Like the less that I have to worry about creating myself, the more I'll be willing to just fall blindly. And again, that comes in with a plan. If the more solid your plan is, the more you're likely to execute. If you take out the guesswork and it's on paper, you're like, all right, this is it. There's no gray area. Like, oh, well, it said 3 sets of 6. I'll do 3 sets of 6 at like a lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, did you you did the movements, but did you really do the workout?
Yeah, it's like it
So
is this AI, this artificial intelligence is giving you the answer on what you're looking for. The really hard part is transferring it from the AI software to your physical human capability.
yeah,
Right? And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. So, how do you overcome that struggle? Like, what motivates you?
it's honestly, it's reaching goals. It's reaching goals that are a little bit harder for me. And like every day, just thinking that that day is going to be the day that adds to that piggy bank. At the end of the day, winning the race or achieving that goal, it feels great. But honestly, what feels really good is looking back at those days that you just added to the piggy bank, right? Especially when you
Yes.
didn't want to. When you don't want to, I feel like that's when you need to. Like those are the big days.
Yes.
Um,
The mountain of motivation that
and,
you're
and
climbing, you're on the top of Everest, and you look back and you see the whole trail. Like all the hard work and like
100%.
all the life risks that you took, all the sacrifices you
Yeah.
had to make to get up to that peak. So,
And I keep using running because like that's the easiest feeling and way that I feel like I can express like staying on track and following a plan.
yeah.
But like those hard workouts and then like completing those hard workouts and going to the race and it feeling easy, like you're like, wow,
Yes.
that training actually worked and I achieved my goal. But like you don't feel proud of yourself for achieving you do, but you feel most proud of yourself when you're like dying a couple weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
on a hard ass workout and you're like, damn, thank you past me for not quitting, because today would not have been achievable, you know? And then or even if you don't reach your goal, like I've had races where I didn't achieve my goal and I look back and I'm like, damn, I remember skipping a couple workouts, or I remember walking when I needed to be running. And then now it lights a fire under your ass for the next race where you're like, I don't ever want to feel that feeling again. I know how much work it takes to achieve my goals, and to feel that feeling at the end of that race. I want to feel that again. And this is what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's easy when you've achieved both the high and the lows, because now you know what it takes, right? But for someone who's never experienced that, I would just say, like, when it feels like it sucks, like, be happy and follow through, because your future self will definitely appreciate it. Like, it's a huge delay of gratification, because you will not see it tomorrow. You will not see it next month. You will see it at the end of the tunnel. But
Yeah.
right now, even though it sucks, you have to lie to yourself until it's the truth and be like, I love this.
Yes.
And you can hate it, but you just have to say, I love this. If you lie to yourself enough, you'll believe it to be the truth, and that's all you have to do. Just keep lying to yourself. If it's a shitty day, today is the best day ever.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that like Sparta quote where it's he who bleeds in battle won't suffer on the battlefield, or he who bleeds in practice does not suffer on the battlefield. And
100%.
it's like, that is embodiment of, you know, like those goals where it's like, all right, like, I'm not trying to fucking do that shit where I'm, you know, where I'm slow and I'm missing my goal. Because we have a friend of the podcast. His name's Connor Runs. He's on Instagram. Great guy. He actually had this huge race. I forgot what it was called, like the Elite something. And he qualified for it. He raced in it. And he ended up not getting the results he wanted at all. Like, to him, it was like a huge fail. And he was talking about a little bit of like the mental strain it was on him, where he's like, man, like, I was training for it for so long, and then it's like this journey, and then you hit a roadblock. Right.
Yeah.
And just the process of building back up and stuff like that, where, you know, being a runner, that's the kind of thing where your thoughts are in your head a lot, at least for me, whenever I run and everything like that. So, I mean, I guess that leads me to my next little quick question. What do you listen to on your runs? When you're going for big endurance runs, are you a music guy? Are you a podcast guy? What do you listen to?
Usually it's music. There's been times where I'm listening to country, I'm listening to hard rock, I'm listening to house music. Or sometimes it's like, all right, I just got to play some sad. I don't feel sad, but I think sad music's, you know, the vibe. But lately, because I've been running for so long, like my runs are hour-long runs that you generally speaking go through your playlist pretty quickly. And so now I've kind of phased out of music and I'm just raw dogging it. Like, I'm not listening to anything. Yeah,
Wow.
dude. Like, and so, and honestly, music starting out, go for it. But I think to a certain extent, you're almost robbing yourself of that experience as well. Like, the whole reason why people started running was to, like, be in their own thoughts, right? And with music, it'll definitely make you run faster. It'll make you, like, pick up some funk or whatever. But
That banger
you're not
comes on and you
ultimately,
feel that flow.
yeah, you don't really truly hear that voice talking until you have no music. And then you're like, I have nothing else to listen to. I can listen to my feet hitting the pavement, but other than that, I hear this voice and it's just me, and I still have the rest of my run, you know? So lately I haven't been listening to music, and I've been just sitting in my thoughts and just fighting demons.
You know, something about that must feel like just so primal, you know? Like, do humans thousands of years ago, we would be doing the same shit, no headphones on, hunting down a fucking woolly mammoth to feed our family in huts, you know? So it's like,
yeah,
that's a really interesting way to look at it, about how, like, we look at it as like raw dogging, or it's like raw dogging anything is like fucking, I mean, not everything, but it seems like for certain
Easy
things,
there.
you know,
Easy there.
raw dogging sucks. But for them, you know, but I guess for running and other cardios, raw dogging seems like it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna try that for my next run. I think I'm gonna try to cut back on the music, listen to the birds, listen to my feet hitting the pavement. I think I'm gonna try to clutch up that way, Tyler. I'm gonna try to
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
I
take a
mean,
note of
like,
your book.
also think of it this way, like, you're outside in nature, you're getting outdoor time.
Yes.
Enjoy the outdoors. Like, there's so much that you don't realize that you miss until you get rid of those distractions. Like, notice the smells, notice,
Yes.
the other sounds that you're hearing, like things that you never would have seen in a car because you're going so fast, right? And you're focused on the road. Like, look at those things. Go people watching. Look at people when they're in their driver's seat. Like, oh, they look like they had a bad day, or man, that person's rocking out in their car right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brief 5 seconds that they're passing you, but you can just take in so much by just getting rid of those distractions and being in that moment. You're truly in that moment, right? There's nothing else you have to do but be on that run and just take in everything.
Okay. Have these thoughts while you're running? Have any of them have you been had any realizations where you're like, man, that I need to change this about your own personal life?
Um, I think they've definitely helped in hard decision making, or like if there's a problem or there's something that's like bugging me, right? And I'll use pink for an example. Like if it was a hard weekend or something, and the next time I go on a run, like I'll have time to think about it and be like, okay, maybe even though that was a shitty practice, like there was still good from that. Or maybe as a coach I should run things like this. Like, again, because all you have is your voice, like it gives you time to look at things in a different perspective, but your body's also producing dopamine, so like you're looking at things from a different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
in a happier perspective. And a lot of the times, like when you come back, you get rid of all that anxiety, all that energy, and then now you can just like lock in and not be 20 different places all at once. And you can be like, oh, that problem's easy to solve. Like, I don't know why I didn't see this sooner.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do is just clear my thoughts, work out. Like, if you have a big decision to make or there's a problem bothering you, write it down, go for a workout, come back and, look at the problem. And half the times, cross out all the problems that you can't control. That'll get rid of so many problems. And the things that aren't crossed off, those are the things that you can deal with. But now you like narrow things down. Like a lot of the problems that we have every day are things that we can't control. So
Yeah.
control what you can.
I feel like if you were to put a list of your daily problems on a piece of paper, right, and you really dive deep down into them, it's like a lot of it is a lot of it's in your control, but a majority of it's actually not. The majority of it is just so much other bullshit that happens in just the real world. Accounting for other people, accounting for just other what's the other audibles in general. Everybody else has their own life.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just the way how I kind of break it down.
And how I tie that into paintball is there are people that get very passionate in the game. And I'm not saying don't have emotions, don't have feelings, but don't let your emotions affect the way that you play. And I felt like this was kind of the approach or the role that I took for you, Hatch, is like I saw how great of a player you were. And I felt like you let a lot of your emotions affect how you played.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to help this guy. Like, he's such a good player. Like, if he can calm the thoughts down in between his head and just be water, like he would be so much better. And again, I'm not saying you're a terrible player, but it's like once you start playing behind emotion, now the ego's picking up a little bit. You're like, no, I'm getting this guy, right? As opposed to like having that delayed gratification and like, no, I made a mistake. These are my mistakes. I'm moving on. I'm playing my game. It almost, like when you're playing with emotions, it almost stacks and stacks and
Yeah.
stacks and stacks, until you're out of control. And so like for people in paintball, like have that grit. That grit is emotion, but don't let that take the steering wheel and dictate how you play. Like you should still analyze your mistakes and think of how can I fix this, but also have that like let's fucking get it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's have this grit. It's that fine line.
Yeah.
But once you find that line and you can ride it,
it's something that's hard to find.
You'll be unstoppable.
I have people I'm blessed because Ty, I have people like you, I have people like Brando, I have people like Paul Stollard, right? Where they really do like have my back in that when they're like, hey dude, like you need to like fucking dial it back. I remember there was this one time where I think we ended up winning the point, but I'm like, boys, like what the fuck? Like we could do this so much fucking better. Like you need to be watching this, we just won the point off of individual talent. We weren't using teamwork, but I'm like, boys, we need to fucking do this. We like this call needs to be made. And Brando was like, dude, shut up. Are you with me right now? Like, and he looked me in the eyes. He poked in my chest. He's like, are you with me? And I'm like, yes. And it's like he snapped me out of it where I'm just like, okay, like no emotion, soldier mode. Right? I got to go out there and be that guy for my team.
Yeah.
You know, so I appreciate everything you've ever, helped me with, Ty. It's crazy. You know, you're younger than me, but dude, the stuff that I know the stuff you learned from Impact, you've always trickled it down. And that's one thing that I've always appreciated. I think especially with the DMG team that we were talking about a lot earlier is there wasn't a lot of trickling down, right? Because they're fighting to survive. They're fighting to keep their head above water in the pro division, right? They're focusing on themselves way more than the divisionals around them, especially in the camp, right? They're at practice, their heads are down because they're getting shit on every event. That's a hard fucking pill to swallow. So, yeah, I just always appreciated how much you've trickled down knowledge. Because it was not a very popular thing when I was coming up in the DMG camp. There were certain players that would, like Marv definitely would, but a lot of other players would not. Mike Arena when he was on the team, definitely. But you were always that guy where when it came down to when you got to the pro team on DMG, you were way more approachable. Like you were always had no problem talking the game out, right? When a mistake was made, you were always, hey dude, like you could do this a little bit better. Hey, you need to not risk your body. You need to respect the value of your body, right? And I guess that's so. One thing that you kind of brought up earlier with Pink and the way that you coach, where when I went over to Texas and I was coaching Austin Oni, a lot of those guys didn't even know like what the island drill was, where it's like two guys on the Dorito, one guy on the snake, and vice versa on the other side, right? That was one of those things where obviously to us, I mean, I'm not pro, but to us, that's like second nature. Like we know that.
Oh, 100%.
Dude, like we look around.
Anyone at Capital Edge knows that.
Right. And that is, the island drill is a thing that we ingrain with a drill in our foreheads at Capital Edge. Right. And because if you lose it, dude, you get clowned when you lose one of those. Right. As you should. Right. We're all trying to be the best players, best version of ourselves. So when you basically throw, and you lose it like that, you deserve to be laughed at in a way. It's like that. It's like that friendly peer pressure. Nobody wants to get laughed at, or nobody wants to run laps.
Right.
It's just that thing it's gonna help you by peer pressure. I didn't like roller coasters, but the boys had my back, and through peer pressure, we carry on.
I'm straight.
There you go.
But okay, what's your greatest fear, Tyler? What's your greatest fear? Think about that one, dude. I want you to picture yourself. If you've watched Harry Potter before?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You're in the third movie, The Prisoner of Azkaban. You're in Dr. Lupin's class. He has that chest. Remember the chest that opens up and it brings out your biggest fear in front of you. What would yours be? What's showing up for Tyler Panlilio in the magic box in Professor Lupin's lab?
I feel like I kind of touch bases on it a little bit, but it would be not doing enough, and not doing enough in the sense that, like, one, I'm letting other people down because I didn't do enough, but also, like, I think of it as, again, like you're on your deathbed and surrounded around you are the different versions of you, right? The versions that you could have been, and like I also think of it as like when you're on your deathbed, how people remember you.
Yeah.
And the way that I see it is like, okay, I'm on my deathbed right now. I see all these other versions of me, right? One of them's an Olympic bodybuilder. One of them's like the fittest person ever who has all these world records, Someone is a doctor who saved millions of lives and stuff like that. Like, and here I am. I'm just a POS that did nothing, right? And stayed on the couch. Like, that's my biggest fear is not living up to who I can be. And that's hard because we don't know what we're going to be,
Yeah.
right? We compare ourselves every day to other people and like, wow, he's only 20 years old and he's already retired, or wow, he's only 26 and he's an x-ray tech, or wow, this guy has all the money and everything. And, so it's easy to compare yourself to other people, but it's just not necessarily being enough, but not being enough because you didn't do enough, So although it sounds like such a great fear, like it honestly is a fear for me, is not doing enough and not living up to my name, really. Like I want to represent the Panlilios the best that I can. Like I want people to be
Interesting.
like, damn, he's a Panlilio. Like that's, oh, you're Tyler Panlilio's brother. You're Tyler Panlilio's son or
Uh,
daughter. Like I want to be that impactful. Like, and I get that I won't be able to save everyone's lives or be impactful in that sense. Maybe I will, but I'll never be
You'll
that
never,
if I'm okay with being okay, you
yeah,
know?
and that's a fear that you may never get over until,
you're
as
on
you
that
said, like
shit.
on your deathbed, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, all right, I did live up to that. Damn, that's a deep fear.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
That's very interesting.
it's, it's not to say that like I haven't achieved things. Like I also have to snap out of it too and be like, hey,
Nothing's
idiot,
happened yet.
you're pro at 22 years old, or you're a pro at 21 years old, like people spend their lives doing that. Like, hey, you've been able to run a half marathon and most people haven't. Like, there are things that I have achieved, but uh, I suck at taking compliments, and I suck at acknowledging my achievements because I find myself always just like, all right, cool, got that. What's the next one? That's just how my brain's hardwired. Growing up, we never really got compliments from our parents, and when we did, it almost was like, hey, you did great, but you could have done
Mm.
this better. And so, although I think it's good, it just one, it kept me grounded because it's like, all right, I did that good, but I can always be better. I can always be better.
Hmm.
And so like that's how I feel in life, is like, okay, I can always be better. I can always be better. Like I'm not doing enough. But every now and then I'll have those moments where I'm like, hey, relax. You are doing enough. Look at what you've achieved so far. But I think the key thing is just not staying in the past and being like, okay, I achieved all this. I'm good. So
Okay.
again, yeah, my biggest fear is not doing enough, and not fulfilling what I can fulfill.
Can I give you a little bit of optimism on that?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm the president of the Optimist Club. Promoted by my
Yeah.
All right.
grandfather. Right. So when you look at it and you're on your deathbed and you're seeing all the things that you were saying, oh, bodybuilder, Olympic athlete, super fit guy. Imagine behind all those guys are all the guys that you also could have been, that on the worst end. Fucking
Right.
bum, fucking loser, failure, like there's so many different things that a crackhead, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right?
Heroin addict.
Exactly. Like there are so many more negative avenues, right?
Well,
That
well,
because
well,
behind those
Yeah.
people where you're like, oh man, like I could have been a doctor, I could have been an Olympic athlete, dude. It could have been so much worse, right? It's kind of
yeah.
like where be where your feet are, right? It's like don't have regrets because you'd be like, oh man, well I'm not a doctor. Well, fuck man, at least I'm not a crackhead. At least that's how I look at it sometimes to like make up for me
Yeah.
not being pro at 21 years old or whatever the fuck you just
Yeah.
said. But man, holy shit, dude. Okay,
Yeah.
so
No, I'm definitely a deep thinker.
yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay,
But I like, obviously I don't start a conversation with the deep stuff, right? I feel like when most people see me out in the field, I keep it pretty lighthearted. But dude, Steve-O, when you start running more, you start thinking about a lot of things.
yeah, absolutely, dude. It had me thinking, dude. The long ass drive home had me thinking because the audience doesn't know. I've tried setting this up for a long time, Tyler, like having you on
Yeah.
the pod. Oh, I
Yeah.
just saw that look where you're like, oh god, this is where he's going, dude. Because the thing is, dude, this is so good, Tyler. This is such a good moment right now because I was always like, oh, dude, like, Tyler, you should come on the podcast. Like, dude, we'd love to have you on. And you're like, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can. Tell the truth, Tyler. Why did you not come on when I asked you? Have you heard this, Brando? Have you heard this?
Yes, yeah. I heard,
Okay.
I heard this,
No, I think I told them too. I think we were all together, but I also think I told them at the B&B. But I didn't get on the podcast for the longest time because of the April Fool's joke, right, with Brando. And for those of you that don't know, there was an episode that it was Ryan and Hatch that got on. Brando wasn't on, and they're like, "Hey."
You didn't get mad at Cody. Cody was on there too.
We got to. I mean, he didn't really say much, right? He was just like kind of going along, but like you guys were the ones that were really driving.
I was wearing a Fortnite costume.
But still, like it was some hard news. But anyways, folks, they went on. It was April 1st, but regardless of it being April 1st, it didn't register in my head. Still, the one thing I don't mess around with is death.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So they had said, you know, Brando was trying to set up a PC, got electrocuted. Michelle came home, saw him like unresponsive. The computer was kind of like plugged in pieces. And so I stopped it right there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta find out what's going on. Like, and then so I'm texting all my group chats and everything. I'm like, hey, did you guys hear? Like, Brando passed away. Like, I don't know how he's doing. Like, and you guys had just gotten married too. Like, it hasn't even been a year yet. Like, you guys
hasn't even been like a week.
And so in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's already a widow. Like they didn't get a start a family. Like she hasn't even, like they weren't even on their, I think you guys were on your honeymoon, right? Or something like that.
We were.
Yeah, I was like, okay, why does he have a PC on his honeymoon? Maybe they came home early. Like my head's scrambling, right? And so I'm like asking people like, hey, did you hear like this and that? And so now they're like, what? And so they're going on too. And then I don't remember if it was like the rest of the episode or if it came out later, or if it was in the comments. However it was, right? Some time had definitely passed by, and I found out that it was fake. I think I ended up texting Brando, and I was like,
yeah.
Are you okay? Like, and it felt weird because I'm going into it like I'm texting a dead guy. Like, this is weird.
Yeah, his ghost's about to text me back.
Yeah, and I was like, are you okay? He's like, no, it was just a joke and everything. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was pissed because I was like, one, I feel like I'm a credible source. You know, when I text
you got
people,
bamboozled
like,
straight up. Like, and it
I
fucking
tried to
pisses
tell
you
the
off.
truth. Yeah. I got bamboozled, but I was also like, fuck, dude, now I'm not a credible source. Like, people are going to be like, are you sure what your source is? Like, this and that. You know? And then, like, I had to retract it, too, and be like, hey, and not to text everybody else and be like, hey, it was just a joke, this and that. You know? And then I had to explain the story, like, 20 different times that, like, yeah, no, they got me. They said it was April Fool's joke, this, that, whatever. And so I was like, no, I don't support an organization that thinks that that's funny.
Absolutely.
And so that's why.
You're completely right, Tyler.
That's what. Yeah, and so that's why I was like, nah, I'm good. And so, I felt like because that was Ryan's podcast, right? Because he had started it along with you guys being the co-host. I felt like he was the one that started the podcast ultimately, and I was like, I'm never going on another podcast that, you know, he's running the show. And so I found out that you guys were making it official and you were going on your own. And rebranding, I was like, okay, I'll talk to these guys. And like, I also was kind of like a little petty too, and I took it personally, and that's why I was kind of like short with you guys at the field too. And I was like, nah, fuck these guys. Like, these guys think like this. Like, this is okay. Nah, I'm good. And so that's why I kind of didn't talk to you guys for a little bit, and then I think Hatch, you had brought it up. You're like, it's because of that, right? And I was like, oh shit, how do you know? Like, how did you know? I didn't tell anyone that. But yeah, I don't mess around with that kind of stuff.
You know, dude. Now that I'm a lot older and I've experienced death firsthand, dude, it's not like I've died, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I went to the Museum of Death.
Yeah, obviously you've lost loved ones.
Yep, absolutely right. And so it was just one of those things, and it's also right. Put it into perspective a lot, where I was like, man, you know, some people have actually had this reality.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously, right. How do I say this without sound like a fucking douche? I love jokes, bro. I love jokes. But I think that's just like a line I just can't cross anymore, you know, where I'm just like, fuck, you know, or it would have to be something
not
fucking crazy.
publicly.
Not publicly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know, like if it's something like in person, quick.
Like, oh
you
shit,
let
dude,
it
did you hear
live
Brando
like
died? He was
you
like,
know
what?
it.
No way. Like, nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like, you know, like that. But
So, hey, Ty,
yeah.
I appreciate
I'd rather
you
have
being,
this honesty, bro. I
distraught.
wanted to ask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I appreciate you being distraught, when you heard the news. Thank
I
you.
did. I
But
was fellow
let me tell
brotherhood.
you let me tell you about the origin of that joke, right?
Okay.
It was from a podcast that both Ryan and I have listened to since we were in high school.
I've never listened to
Or
it,
since
bro.
I
My
was in
first
high
time
school.
listening to it
Yeah.
was 3 months ago,
Okay.
ever. So
Okay.
they're like, oh, this
So
joke from this podcast is gonna be funny, and I'm like, okay.
so that was a bit that they ran, and it was only because one of their hosts wasn't responding to them in text calls, whatever, for a couple hours before they were supposed to start the show, and they were live streaming the show, and so they get on, they had a guest and whatnot. They're like, hey, let's just pretend he died or whatever. So it was somber, opened just like how we opened the show, and then halfway through the episode or the live stream, the host just popped in, and it was like, holy shit, he's not dead, kind of thing. And it was it was a funny bit for that show,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And
We weren't
yeah,
big
I
enough
was
at the
going,
time to fake that. We were not big enough,
no,
dude.
look, as kind of funny as it was at first, as soon as I heard it, I was like, damn, they actually did it. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to do it because of all the backlash that yeah, we got. I mean, again, I said it at the field. VG, every time I see VG says
You
something
alive, bro?
about it. Like, dude, why'd you have to do that? Yeah, don't mess with that.
No, he was one of the first people I texted too.
Yeah, and you know, this is like exposure therapy right here for us, Brando, because we've talked about it where there are people that will never forgive us for that, right? Obviously, like in their mind, dude, that it makes complete sense. Why would they, right? We messed around with a subject that is so sensitive for some people that that is a line that can never be crossed for some people, and we fucking crossed it, right?
Yeah.
And so, Tyler, I'm glad that genuinely we could actually get this like worked out to where, because I was like, oh man, Tyler just fucking hates me. But now I realize I realize it's because I faked the death of one of his loved ones. I mean, fuck, dude. If someone faked
And
the death
it
of
would
my
have been the
loved one,
same if they did that to you, Hatch.
Yo,
Like,
bro, you're so right, bro. You're so right, bro. You're so right.
If it was you that they said died, I'd be like, what? Hatch
Yeah,
died?
so
Like,
fuck, dude.
you
I mean,
know?
I'll probably get taken out by like some like radioactive toilet that falls out of the sky or some shit off like a
just make sure it's
AC-130.
good, whatever it is.
Yep.
Don't let it be plugging in your PC.
The thing is
nothing
that
gay
one,
like
man,
that.
and that story just worked out so well because like the previous week we had Danny Lincoln on. He's like, oh, I'm sending over a PC and blah blah blah. I was like, oh, we got the PC, zap,
Yeah.
So, man, what a fucking wild road that has been since then. And Brando, one, I'm glad you're alive, bro.
Jesus,
And
yeah, me too.
Michelle played that
Likewise,
out very
yeah.
well because she was like posting. She's still doing posts and everything in Hawaii, just minus Brando.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
Very, very believable. Very, very believable. But yeah, that's just overall one of those things where people are never gonna forgive us. I'm at the point in my life where I get it. People are never gonna forgive us for that. But dude, we're healing one person at a time, Tyler. And you're that first person, dude. You are that first person.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
But okay, now we're all dressed up. I think it's one time to talk about real quick. What's your guys' favorite like Halloween candy? What is like your guys' favorite like thing about Halloween?
I mean, favorite candy or favorite thing about Halloween?
Both.
Two different things.
We're kind of talking Halloween now. We're dressed up,
Let me think.
Don't tell me like butterscotch.
favorite-
You look like butterscotch, Brando.
Favorite candy, like
No.
chocolate wise, would be Kit Kats, and then favorite, you were a witness to that. And then what? No, we need to talk about this. You don't
Okay, all right,
influence him. I want to hear his thoughts.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
But so my favorite chocolate candy is Kit Kats, and my favorite like sweet candy would be Airheads, right?
Okay.
The debate, right?
Solid.
If you had to choose between Kit Kats and Twix, which are you
Kit
choosing?
Kats.
What the
Why?
fuck?
Kit Kats.
Why is that?
One, I can split a Kit Kat with a homie. It doesn't look like me and him are fucking munching on a fucking turd log together, you know?
Okay.
But Kit Kat,
Twix?
Twix? Now there's like some bullshit where there's like left Twix, right Twix, bro. I don't give a fuck about their politics, bro. Like, that's fucking bullshit, right? You know? So I'm just saying, like,
I agree.
Kit Kat is one of those things where it's good and true, and I'm not a chocolatey guy. I'm not a big chocolate guy myself. But it has that perfect balance of like chocolate with whatever that cookie or whatever the fuck that is underneath. You know, waffle, is that what it is?
It's got layers.
You
Yeah,
know, layers, bro.
But
You
it's
mean
got
like
layers.
a cookie that is also in Twix? With some caramel on it?
But
You know,
yeah,
there's
the
more
Kit
flavors.
Kat though is just like, you know, I mean, it's never really as realistic as it is in the commercials. But when they would like snap a Kit Kat in the commercial to like break it off for a homie, dude, that was like, they had like the beat to that. Remember, they had like a rap song to like the breaking of the Kit Kats. Can you do that with a Twix? Fuck no.
Marketing as well. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Marketing for Twix is dividing the people. Left
That
and
is,
right.
dude, you are absolutely right about that.
And people are gonna have to be like doing this when they're eating their Kit Kat.
Yeah.
The left
And,
person or right
and,
person?
and all the people that are on the right are gonna be like, oh well, fuck the left. I know. I'm gonna eat the right one. Just leave the left one there. Now we're just wasting fucking food. Now we're just wasting candy, people.
Yep.
Damn it. You know,
Brando, you want to defend yourself on this?
That's a good-
on
that's a good
why a Twix is so
a
good.
Twix. I mean, there's more to it. I feel like there's still that cookie, there's still that chocolate, and you got a caramel, more flavor. I mean, a Kit Kat's just what the little bits of wafer and chocolate in between. It's just not as much going on. All right?
I'm picking Reese's
You know,
Cup over both of those.
Look,
Do I need to
yes,
put the nail in the coffin with my last?
Yes, please, for the love of God, I need to hear this.
You know, I'll give you the thing that you break one off with a homie, right? Where Twix is being divided. I'll give you that, all right?
Okay.
And go ahead, Tyler. Jesus.
Okay, but Steve-O,
I'm ready.
think of when you eat a Twix, right? And
Yep.
and you got the caramel, right? Caramel's all in there,
Oh, that should
now-
be like,
now think of-
like a mozzarella stick. You know what I'm saying?
right? Okay. Remember that.
Yep.
Now think of when you eat a Twix, right? Your experience of like eating the wafers, the chocolate, that's subtle, right?
Visioning it.
Now, when you're envisioning that, at the end of eating a Twix, do you vividly remember it going like this? Because the caramel is like stuck in your teeth or
That's
like
valid,
in the back of your throat. Yeah, now go back to the Kit Kat. Do you have that problem when you're eating a Kit Kat?
Not at all.
Oh, man.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That flavor of the Kit Kat's gone. That Twix is sticking around.
No.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then what you could do with the Kit Kat is you could bite off the little corners because they over pour it a little bit, right? So the wafer is like this, and then the chocolate corner is like that. You can just bite this
technique.
corner off, square it off, and then now that you have this square like wafer, you can, with your front teeth, you can like cut it down.
Bugs
so now
Bunny.
you can half the wafer. Dude, it just lasts forever. With the Twix, you're just like,
Yeah, just fucking munching on a caramel turd.
Yeah,
You know?
just
Yeah,
so
no.
slurping it. You know.
no, and then like if
I
you're
don't eat
halving it with
Twix
the
like that,
homie,
Brando. Chill,
if
bro.
you're halving it with the
Focus,
homie,
man.
right? One, you feel the veins, right? You feel the veins on the Twix. But when you also pull it apart, now you got like caramels all over your face, man. Like, come on, we can't be having that.
I don't know what veins you're feeling,
You know,
but
I'm
with,
just
with,
saying.
with the veins
Just
on the
saying.
Twix alone, I'm picking Kit Kat, bro.
Yeah,
Honestly,
dude.
Honestly, dude. Brandon, do you like Almond Joy?
Just saying.
I feel like you would like Almond Joy.
I do like almond joy.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
What's wrong with almond joy?
No, dude. The coconut? No.
Yeah, I like coconut.
No.
Man, my God.
Tyler, you're
You know
quiet.
what,
Now
you-
I feel like you like coconut.
All right, the almond joy without the almond is joy.
Oh, Mounds?
just like the chocolate and the coconut with no almond.
Isn't that what it's called? Mounds?
Oh, those were mounds. Yeah.
It's called a Mounds.
Is it
Roll.
called
Maybe
mounds?
that's dark chocolate.
I
I
didn't-
think those are dark chocolate typically.
I'm talking like when I have the almond joys, I'll bite off the almond, either throw it away or eat that first. But then I want to like fully just experience just the chocolate and the coconut. Like that's it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
I'll live with that. I'll live with
Is
that.
that
take.
called mount? Is that called mounds?
I think.
Or is that like a
so.
completely
Let's see.
different candy?
Mounds,
Jamie, go ahead, look that up.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So mounds is just the coconut and the chocolate.
Oh,
Dark chocolate
mounds.
though.
Ew,
Sounds all
dark
day.
chocolate's fucking shit though. But
To each their
Some-
own.
okay,
some
okay.
good dark
I just
chocolate.
have to tell the story real quick before we get too sprayed away from Halloween. I remember this one time, me and Cedar were at World Cup. We had this one teammate in D3. His name was Alex, right? Beast, right? He was a member in the military, right? And
Tall guy, Alex.
Yep. Well, not super
Okay.
tall,
There you
but you know him. Do you know who I'm talking about? I want to like dox
Yeah.
him, right?
I
But-
see him in the Europe NXL.
yes.
Plays for a German team. Yeah.
So we're sitting at the Airbnb and we're talking about like weird foods that we like. And Cedar has 2 tortillas and he's putting fucking peanut butter in between the tortillas and then smash the tortillas together. I think he puts in the microwave for like something like that, right? And he just eats it just like that. And this guy Alex is like, dude, that is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. And we're like, well, what do you do for food that's like weird? And he goes, you know, I like to pour myself a bowl of cereal right when I wake up. Pour myself a bowl of cereal, like he said, like Frosted Flakes, for example, right?
Okay.
Pours the bowl of cereal right when he wakes up, does his morning regiment, you know, shaves, does all his bullshit, comes back to the cereal after he's already done. It's been sitting there for like 30 minutes, and he's like, I like my cereal so thin, I can suck it through a straw.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Dude, I go,
no,
this guy better not
no.
fucking say shit about Cedar and his fucking weird tortillas, bro.
Yeah, no.
Once the
dude.
soggy cereal
Soggy
through a straw,
cereal is a no-go.
that was like the worst one I've ever heard in my entire life.
I know a guy that eats Oreos with mustard. Yeah,
Dude,
I've
that
seen
is a
him-
crime. That is a
Yes.
crime.
Like, what the fuck?
Tyler's like
Yeah,
intrigued. He's like,
interesting.
I like Oreos
Shit.
and I like mustard.
I do, but I don't know about that combo together, you know?
Yeah, that sounds fucking horrible.
No, thank you.
But okay, anyway, sorry.
Okay, Steve-O, what's your favorite candy?
Okay, now we're getting in the bigs. Shit, man, I'm a fool for a Laffy Taffy, bro. I'm a fucking slut for a Laffy
Ooh,
Taffy.
I totally forgot about those.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I remember, dude, this one kind. My mom would always take it out because I thought it tasted like shit. It was. You remember it was called Sixlets. Do you guys ever had that? Where it's like these little
Sixlets.
fucking like, it was like these little fucking chocolate like, it's like chocolate and yeah, like peanuts or some shit. It's like a brand. You're looking it up, but that was
I gotta look this up.
that was the kind that my
I'm
mom
trying
like,
to.
loved.
Shit. What's it called?
Sixlets.
Sixlets.
I think that's what it's
Alright,
called.
let's-
And the mascot is like a caterpillar that's like made out of them.
You're talking about like these guys?
The blur.
Oh shit.
I will say yes. We'll say yes. It's okay.
Yes, there's a caterpillar on it. There's a caterpillar.
Okay,
on it.
perfect.
And it comes in like a little tube.
Yes,
It's like
yes,
these,
yes.
like circular,
you know, dude,
spherical
underrated.
candies.
I mean,
Coming
shit,
in the
dude.
chat.
Low key, okay.
See it.
This one was great, but I don't think they would give it out. I mean, maybe they did give it out in small boxes when I was like a kid. But do you guys remember the candy bottle caps?
Oh,
Yeah,
bottle caps
Oh,
are
dude,
great.
banging, dude. Let's see.
Yeah.
Did you send some in the chat? Let's see this.
Yep,
Let's
yep.
see this.
Yeah, I think
Sixlets.
that's it.
Oh, this looks like fucking yeah. This looks like the bullshit my mom would like.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Some-
bullshit.
Old person.
I think I have seen them in like the cellophane, but I haven't seen like the actual bag that they come in.
Okay. What other like really good candy is there, dude?
I mean,
I remember.
dude,
I remember going to like the rich neighborhoods and getting like full size like candy bars and shit. I remember one guy was giving out one year the Sour Patch straws, but in like the whole like long tube thing, and he was like just handing out the whole
those are
package, and I'm
good.
like, oh my god, bro, this guy is fucking.
Those are good while drinking any type of soda.
oh,
Like
dude.
drinking.
That's like that reminds
yeah,
me of like
drinking
sixth
a
grade
drink.
like snack bar. You know?
Yeah,
It's like
dude.
it's like I just got done running track. I just fucking, you know, the Friday night or Friday evening, you know, where it's like sports. You know, you're doing your sports game when you're a kid. Go to the snack bar, get like a fucking pickle, get a fucking dude, snack bar pickles. Man,
Pickle on a stick?
bro, deadass. That's what I should start doing at my house to like hand out to kids for Halloween.
Pickles?
Like, oh yeah, here's a pickle. You know, just have
Okay.
them all like pre-bagged. That wouldn't be
Oh,
that wouldn't be
not-
weird at all,
Alright.
right?
I
Sit in a
imagine
brown bag.
I imagine.
No, see through that, see it?
I imagine you opening the big jar of pickles and just letting them stick their hands in there.
Oh,
You
that's an
know.
even
Yeah,
better idea. I mean, I'm not eating those
yeah.
pickles
There you
after
go.
that.
Take one. Take one.
Yeah. They're getting like the shitty Vlasic ones. I'm getting like the really good ones where they're like the spears. You know what I'm saying?
What I will say is actually really good. Now that we're on the topic of pickles, pickled hard boiled eggs. Hard boiled eggs. You peel them, throw them in there, dude. Gas pack.
All right,
Swear to God.
I gotta. You know, next time you get some, tell me what brand it is, and I'll get that exact brand, and I'll trust your word on
You,
it.
no, you have to make them. So what you have to do? I'll give you
Oh,
all the
you
pickles.
lost me, buddy.
I'll give you all the pickles because you just need the pickle juice, and then you drop the eggs in there. I'm telling you, it sounds so weird, but it
Wait,
is
any pickle
so
juice?
good.
Any pickle juice?
Any pickle juice, any pickle
Okay.
juice. You put hard-boiled eggs in there. Let them sit for at least 24 hours, and you have to peel the egg. You can't have the hard
Wait,
part in there. Okay, you
Yeah.
have to peel the egg,
Okay.
drop it in there, and it is so good.
You
You
know,
will never cramp again.
you're one of the very few people, Tyler, that is like me. You'll drink pickle juice right out of the fucking jar, right?
Yeah, that's because I sweat a lot of sodium. So like in football, I would cramp so bad
Yeah.
that they would go to the snack bar and they would get mustard packets and they'd be like, "Oh, have these." And so
I hated
those
that when
didn't
Paul
do
made
the
me do it.
trick, and they got tired of like taking the time to like peel it or just get the packets. That I like started a trend at my high school where they would bring like the big like pump of
ooh, mustard.
mustard, and they would have it on the sidelines for me. And so I like every time I'd come off the field, I would literally tilt my head and just start pumping mustard, and everyone in the crowd would be like,
Yeah.
"Oh!" But that's
That's
what I had to do,
mustard
like just to,
boy.
yeah, 100%. And like on the away games when we didn't have the pump, they would just buy a brand new squeeze bottle, throw it in the ice chest, and I'd be on the side just ripping it.
Sit there instead of a water bottle, you just mustard.
Yep,
Oh, God.
100%. I wish
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten pictures of it, but that's what I would do. So like now on the sidelines, they got a bottle of mustard.
Wait, so
So
why aren't the, is there mustard in the impact pit?
no, 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 because
They have
those
pickles, right?
you got to think. Yeah, we have pickles,
Yeah.
but you got to think of it like we're not playing that long. Like with a football game, you have all your gear on, you're
Yeah.
sweating, you're nonstop running, right? At least with paintball, you have more time to hydrate and put electrolytes in your body in
Mhm.
between matches. So there's not really a need for that. Like I don't sweat nearly that much.
Yeah. I just want to
Um,
see you slam a bottle of mustard.
I'll bring one for cup.
You know
Like
what?
if
Don't
you
even
think I'm
worry.
lying,
We'll
I
bring
will.
one for
I'll
Cup,
literally.
and we'll make our way into
Yeah,
the
there you
pro
go.
pits. Right, we'll make our way into the
There
pro
you
pits,
go.
and I'll be like, "Where's he at? I want to be the mustard guy." Right, where
I
you
yeah.
walk in the pit after shitting on whoever the fuck it is for whatever team. You're like, "Do I need mustard?" And I'm like, "I got you, bro. Open up."
At first, it was definitely weird, and I was like, I just have to do it. But then after doing it for so long, I was like, this is actually pretty good.
So
You
you
know,
love
again,
mustard.
you're lying to yourself. You're like, oh, this is pretty good. Yeah.
So you love mustard.
I mean, I'm not like waking up in the morning and just pumping mustard in me, but like,
That's your go-to
I'll
though.
have mustard.
When it comes to getting
Yeah.
sodium back in your system, mustard is your
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah. If I need it like right now, like it's mustard.
All right, it's settled, dude. Trick or treaters are getting mustard packets. It's settled, boys.
They are.
It's settled.
They're getting pickles from you.
Yep. Okay.
There it is.
Still trying to stick around the topic of Halloween.
Yep.
What is your favorite scary movie that you've ever seen, Tyler?
I love the Conjuring series.
Oh yeah.
I love those because it's a different type of scary.
Yeah, there's a part two to this
Because
question.
they're based on true stories,
Yep.
right? Versus if it's something that's not, other than what is it? The black phone, or like, you know what I'm talking, like the one with the telephone.
I did see that. I think we
Mhm.
actually
Yep.
watched that one as a team, no bullshit, randomly at an event.
Yeah.
That one is just like, it's scary because that could happen.
That is
right?
absolutely a
It's
possibility
not,
that happens in real life.
even though it's not true, it could happen. But like with the Conjuring series, especially, like I enjoy watching those, and I get like a different type of scared watching those because I know like that stuff actually happened. It's not like the paranormal um, stuff where it's all fake, right? And it's just Hollywood's imagination on how
Mm.
scary can we make things. Because deep down, I know, okay, it's fake. Like, yeah, I got scared in the moment, but it's fake. That stuff will never happen.
One movie that definitely fucked me up that was real. Brandon, if you want to look it up and post a picture, it's called The Strangers. Dude, that movie fucked me up when I was a kid. But so are there any scary movies that like really got you good where you're like, damn, like I'll never forget that moment in that movie?
Like as far as like ghosts and stuff.
It doesn't have. It could just be a scary movie. It doesn't have to be a.
The one that got me, the one that like really got me was The Call, and The Call is the one where there's like this teenage girl. She's walking in the mall garage, and then this dude abducts her, puts her in the trunk, and she's on call with this
The 911
dispatcher.
dispatcher, dude.
Yes, because again,
that
can actually happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not just to women. Like if you get someone that wants little Asian boys, like they can snatch me up. So it's
absolutely.
like,
We're talking.
yeah, and it's easy to get caught up in everything else other than your surroundings in that moment. You're fumbling for your keys, you're trying to get unlocked, or you get in your car and then now you're just like, oh, let me respond to these text messages. Someone opens the door, rips you out,
Yeah.
Another reason to raw dog your runs, right? It's just,
dude, awareness,
100%.
bro, is 100% a thing.
Dude, I've had some sketchy encounters too,
Me too,
where
brother.
I'm like, fuck, man.
Dude,
I might have to throw down.
I actually just got shot at like 2 or 3 days ago. No bullshit.
Like actually shot at?
Actually fucking shot at. Like I don't.
No
if you look at it in the
way.
Discord, I posted. I think it's in the memes chat. I posted the picture of the bullet hole that's like maybe like 6 feet away from where I sit at work.
Oh my
shit.
god.
Yeah, dude. Like right, that shit is like perfectly fucking round circle through. Right.
That's crazy.
Right. Brando, copy and paste it in this chat so Tyler can see it,
Yep.
and just so I can
got
see it
you.
as well. But yeah, dude, that shit is like so scary to think of. I mean, I work in Fresno, right? There's some ghetto ass motherfuckers over there, right? But let me show the chat for everybody. So this right here, people, was like right. Oh fuck me.
Oh my gosh.
Right, that was like maybe six feet away from like where I sit at my desk.
Did you hear the gunshot, or you just heard the impact of the glass?
I heard the impact of the glass.
Okay,
and
did you even react, or were you like, what the heck?
Dude, I instantly fucking reacted and pulled my piece out, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay.
Right, dude.
The genes are strong. Jeans are strong.
I was like,
okay.
I was instantly like, I heard that, and I was like, that kind of sounded like a bullet hit to glass. And then I was like, nah, no way. Probably just some fucking hobo throwing some shit, right? Because Fresno has a huge problem with homeless people, right? Then sure as shit, I'm like, I'm walking over. One of the ladies that I work with, she's like, oh shit, look at that right in your window. And I look over and I'm looking down, and there's a fucking perfectly like round hole, like perfect round hole, straight through.
I mean, yeah, I can see it.
And I was like,
that's crazy.
I was like, holy fucking shit, bro. It really just like, I mean, I'm not like freaking out about it, right? Because it could happen to anybody, right? But it's like, it just makes you realize like how valuable life is, right? It makes you really not want to like prank that your friend got like murdered by a computer,
Yeah.
Right.
But Strangers, what's that one about?
Okay, yeah. I don't even know how the fuck I even got on that subject. But The Strangers is about like this married couple, like they just get married and they go back to this cabin on a lake or some shit, and all of a sudden the doorbell rings, and it's this girl, but like the porch light is off, so when they open the door, you can't see her at all. It's just like a black silhouette, and she's like, "Can I come in?" And the guy's like, "No. Do you live around here?" And she's like, "Oh, I just want to know is anybody else home?" Right? And it's fucking sketchy as fuck, right? And then the whole time, it is these 3 people. It's a young girl, an older dude, and an older woman, and they are wearing like these porcelain masks. And it's based off a true story. The whole movie's based off a true story, right? And that's what really makes it scary. Look it up, Brando. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he put it in the chat.
And the main guy, he would wear a flour sack over his head, and that was like terrifying to me because when I was a kid, there was this game called Resident Evil 4 there was this character in there called Dr. Salvador who had a chainsaw that would chase you around with a flour sack over his face. And that one where it was like, it was just kind of like showing where it's like the capability that a human can do to another human being when they're just like completely fucked in the head.
Yeah.
Right. And that one just really like messed me up good. Cause I'm like, man, like anybody could do that. A dark neighborhood in the fucking mountains, dude, that is easily doable, which is scary.
Yeah.
But
100%.
That's the one that fucked me up.
Brando, what's your scary movie?
You don't like scary movies, huh, Brando?
I do. No. I do. Yeah, Michelle really likes watching scary movies.
Oh, hell yeah.
But
Oh wow.
it was The Ring. The Ring was the one that scared me growing up.
That sounds so familiar.
I always thought The Ring and The Grudge were like kind of in the same thing, kind of in a way.
What? I guess
They're both like they're both like super pale. Like, okay, do you remember the sound? Do you remember the sound that The Grudge would make? Yeah, it's like. Yeah.
Oh,
dude,
The Ring.
That shit scared the hell out of me, dude. The Grudge.
So, but the thing it was.
You're gonna die in 7 days.
Yeah. After watching a movie, but I'm like, I'm sitting here as a kid watching a movie. What if this is the movie?
You're watching a movie. You're watching a tape. Yeah. You're watching a tape about a tape that kills people. You're like, oh shit.
Right. Yeah, dude, that's scary.
Holy
shit. And the first time that the main character was watching the movie, and the girl comes out of the well and starts walking towards the camera and then crawls out of the TV, I was like, holy shit. I'm too young for this shit.
Dude, I actually saw...
So that's always stuck with me.
I actually saw a Scary Movie 3 before I saw The Ring. So...
Oh, man.
I actually was way less traumatized than that, because I was like... I remember that scene in Scary Movie 3 where she's like crawling through the TV and the black chick is like, oh, what's up? And starts actually like kicking her fucking ass. I'm like, bro, that would be me. Dude, I'm fucking drawing on this chick, putting her down, coming through my TV like that, dude. You know?
Yeah.
But, man...
Jeez.
That's fucking insane.
What was the part 2 to this question?
Scary movie?
I think it was like what was the number one movie that like really messed you up? I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay.
It's like, what's your favorite scary movie and what's one that just like fucked you up?
Yeah, it's the stuff that could happen.
For sure. The Call is
the real stuff, dude.
The Call is actually like a really scary movie. I forgot what movie it was really recently, but got a lot of controversy because it was kind of about like the human trafficking of kids, and I was like, I don't know what movie it was. It was really recent, maybe in the past like year. What's it called, dude? Brando, you'd have to look this up. It's about like a guy who saves people from being trafficked, and it's like incredibly real. No, it's not Taken, bro.
No, I'm just kidding.
I have a very particular set of skills. You know?
Is it literally Traffic?
No, that's a show. I'm pretty sure Trafficked is a show. But there's a movie that came out. Dude, what the fuck is it called, bro? I'm pissed that I'm drawing a blank on it.
Is it with another dispatcher?
No.
Hush? No.
Dude.
Eden, Priceless. Films on human trafficking.
Ask ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT. They would know for sure.
I'm so not in a database now.
All right, let me freaking... How do I word this to ChatGPT?
Yeah.
What's that movie?
Never mind.
Hey, ChatGPT. What's that movie? No, I'll use the microphone. Oh, I'm not signed in because I'm not letting this shit dox my information.
Ew.
Uh-oh.
What's that?
I already signed in as you, so it's fine.
Dude, the problem is, the hard part about artificial intelligence is I have to ask intelligent questions. And now I'm like,
right.
I'm asking this motherfucker what movie were they trafficked in, and it's gonna give me 1,000 fucking options. But
you got what the main character look like?
White dude.
Not for me, but not for me, but all right, then never mind. You know what's funny is that Taken is literally the first one that pops up.
You know, that movie really did scare me. It really did scare me of kind of like Europe, where I'm like, man, dude, I'm a pretty good looking dude. They'd fucking suck me up in a second, over there in those fucking hotels with the red door.
I think the one that kind of scared me for traveling is, I forget the name of it, but it's a husband, wife, and his 2 girls. The dad gets a job overseas. I think it's like in China or Thailand or something. It's some Asian country, right? He goes over there. The dad's a white collar corporate guy, but then the government in the country that he's in fails, and the whole country is trying to attack Americans and white people. So they're having to run away in this country while people are trying to kill them.
What?
Um, yeah, it's and then like even they tried going to an asylum, but then or an embassy, and of course
She was probably
the
blown up or
militia
something.
there, yep, blew up the embassy. So like I'm kind of spoiling the movie, but like they try all these maneuvers and everything just to get to the embassy to see that it's demolished, and they're like, what do we do now, but then they have to like find another plan. But like just the thought of going to another country and then their government failing, and then now you're a
Death to
foreigner.
Americans.
Yeah, dude.
That is
Not
terrifying.
only are you thousands of miles away from home, but you're in a foreign country where they speak a foreign language, and you're on your own and no government can help you. Like
Dude,
that's scary to
I
me.
actually, if I'm being honest, that freaks me out so much to where that's like a probably one of the top 3 reasons why I don't like going out of the U.S. is because I just have like weird thoughts like that where I'm like, dude, what if the fucking the Irish mafia fucking wants me to get me when I'm in Ireland? What if the fucking cartel wants to get me when I'm in Mexico? Like what's stopping them from doing that?
That yeah.
I'm
I
at
mean,
their mercy if they're home.
did you hear my Poland story?
No, what?
Okay, so I played NXL Europe, right? But how that worked out
That was actually one of our
is
questions for you. Thank you for saying that.
okay. So it's a Monday morning, and Mikey hits me up, and he's like, "Yo, Ty, like I know you're trying to play NXL Europe. This team's asking for bodies. Like, are you trying to play?" And I'm like, traveling solo is fine for me, but it's traveling solo in a foreign country that I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird.
One wrong turn,
And
bro,
I
you're fucking cooked.
and I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Like, let me see if they meet my demands. And he puts me in contact with one of the dudes, and he's like trying to like, hey, are you trying to play? Like, we need a snake player, this and that. But they're on opposite time zone, so like at 10 o'clock here,
They're
it's
waking up.
nighttime for them. So it's nighttime, or 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. It's nighttime for
Okay,
them, right?
gotcha.
And so the communication's kind of broken because he's only staying up for so long before he falls asleep, and now I'm just waiting the rest of the day, right? And so, anyways, we get to communicating, and I'm like, yeah, like these are my demands. Like, what can you do about it? I'm thinking they're gonna shoot me down, right? So I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to Europe, whatever. And he's like, here's the chat with my coach and myself. And the coach is like, yeah, Tyler, like this is the deal. Um, you would need to get on a flight tomorrow, Thursday, and now it's Wednesday, right? All this communication
That's
took time.
quick.
It's Wednesday morning. And he's like, I need you on a flight in 12 hours, and you need to land here Friday morning. So you would need to leave tomorrow. And I was like, huh? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yep, we'll pay for everything. Like, you just get out here. And I was like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do? Like I'm panicking now because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, he called my bluff. Like I guess I gotta play now. And so I was working at the field, and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I gotta go, I gotta leave. I called Dave, and I'm like, yo, I gotta leave, I'm going to Europe. He's like, what, are you okay? Like what's going on? I'm like,
Trying to
I gotta
escape.
go. Like I gotta get all my shit in order. Like I gotta pack. Like, and so I remember I went to the safe deposit box. I grabbed my passport. I started packing. I started setting all my travel notifications on my cards and everything. And I remember my mom coming home, and she's like, "Oh, where are you flying to now?" Like, she's thinking it's just another practice, right? And I was like, "I'm going to Poland." She's like, "What?"
What?
And it's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to Poland." And she's like, "Huh? Who are you?" And I was like, "This is the team. This is the coach I've been talking to, and I got a flight tomorrow. Here's the itinerary." And she's like, "Okay, where are you staying? Who's picking you up?" Like,
And you're just like, I don't know.
literally every single question I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And she's like, you don't know? And I was like, no, I don't. But
It's hard to argue for
either this is
yourself
gonna
when
be,
your mom is like
I
that.
was like, I was like, either this is gonna be the best story ever, or this is gonna be the best worst story ever. But either way, it's gonna be a story, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, that's what I'm telling myself. And so I fly from SAC to SF to Berlin, and Berlin to Poland. And when I get to Poland, luckily I'm with Verizon, and Verizon you can just pay for the day. It's like $50 a day or something to get unlimited text, call, and internet. So that saved me a lot because they only communicated via Messenger.
Ah,
And so I
paintball
just
players.
tell him like, I'm like, hey, I'm here. Like, who's going to pick me up? He's like, don't worry, there's a guy there. But when I landed in Poland, I didn't realize that no one spoke English.
Oh my god.
Um, and when they did speak English, it was like broken
For sure
English, right? It
broken.
was very rare to find someone who spoke really good English. And so this is my first time out of the country alone. I went when I was like 11 to the Philippines. So I was like super young, but I
And
was
you're
with
accompanied by
family.
your
So
family.
exactly. I'm by myself. I'm like, I don't know how to get new money. I don't know like this and that.
Oh,
And so I meet up with a teammate, and literally I each day I don't know where I'm staying. I don't know who's taking me anywhere, but they did a really good job in keeping me in the loop. They made sure I was always picked up. I had food. I had a place to stay, and I also went there on a one-way ticket. So part of the negotiations is he was like, okay, you're gonna play in our Poland NXL, and depending on if you're a good fit, I like if you're a good fit, we'll take you to NXL Europe, but if not, we'll get you a flight home. And he's like, so don't worry about it. We'll fly you home regardless. And so now in my head, I'm like, well, shit.
At the
That's
complete
basically him
mercy of
saying,
them.
yeah, that's him saying that like if I play like shit, they're flying me home, or they could just leave me stranded here. But if I play good,
Jesus.
I'll fly with the team, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I ended up playing lights out, dude. I played so well. And they're like, yeah, I think it's a good fit, Tyler. Yeah. And
Da.
so I had, yeah, yeah. And so I had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday all for myself. So I got to go around Poland and check out like all their touristy spots and everything. I was in like a really nice studio hotel. So they really took care of me. And then they had a teammate come show me around and be my interpreter and everything every day. So I was thankful for that. And then come Wednesday morning, we drove 2 hours north of Poland to another airport because it was cheaper. Flew to the UK. We flew to London, and then from London we drove another 2 hours to Birmingham, where the tournament
Birmingham.
was. So we played the tournament. We ended up getting ninth place, but we made it to Sunday. We got ninth place. And then that day I flew home, but it was definitely a crazy experience. There was a lot of good there, not a lot of bad. Um,
Just a fear of the unknown for a lot of it.
yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of it. Like I'm a person who likes to be in control of a lot of things. I like to know. It's the fear of unknown is what gets me, right. Like I want to know where I'm staying. I want to know what the itinerary looks like. So being in the mercy of them was definitely a scary feeling, but also being in a different country was a culture shock. When we went to London, I felt a little bit more independent because they all spoke English, and I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can get around.
Right, but just the fear of missing a layover and not speaking that language, whether it's German or I was in Istanbul on the way home, like, you know, it was stressful.
Damn, Istanbul. I feel like
Oh,
that's.
I th-
Uh-oh.
oh, okay. You
Headphones
good?
die?
You
Yeah,
got you
no,
now?
yeah, it was scary.
Okay.
Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Fuck yeah. Well, Tyler, dude, it's been fucking great having you on.
Nerve
And one
wracking.
question I want to ask you before we close out:
Okay.
if every single human in the entire world was connected via a single conduit, what would you tell every single human on Earth right now?
Be a good person and do something nice for someone. Um, you never And I think you asked me this question before,
I did when I was
and
testing it out on you first.
yeah, and like, dude, just be a good person. You never know when someone needs it. You never know when you might need it. You know, if you need some good karma in the bank, like regardless, just be a good person, give back in a way that you can, and contribute to society in a good way. You know, there's so many people that are taking other people's lives, putting people down. It's easy to do the bad thing, and now it just seems like it's so hard to get good, decent human beings, and people who can restore faith that we are good. So do something nice for someone. Tell your loved ones you love them, or you still love them, and you know, go on with your life. But yeah.
Amazing. Brando, do you have any final questions for our guest?
You know, yeah, I wrote something down,
All
right?
right.
It was it was. Did I add it in the questions? I don't know if I did, but anyways, um, it at first you and I was playing at the Sepples, right?
Oh man. Okay.
I was playing at the Sepples. You were
I
playing
feel
with
like I know where
DMG,
this is going. Well, okay.
and I always had a run-in with your dad and both your brothers,
Mm.
whether it was at Sepples, at other tournaments, not at Capital Edge and whatnot. Um, you know, came good friends with them, talking with them. I had a conversation with Brandon after like a 3-man tournament that we played, and and something came up about, I don't know how we got on it, but he said that because I didn't say anything to you, I didn't know you, right?
Yeah.
Knew of you. Uh, Mentioned that he's like, yeah, Tyler thinks that you don't like him. I was like, dude, I thought he didn't like me. Like what the hell? What the hell is this shit? So so it was like, oh no, that all right, that's good to know. We both thought each other didn't like each other, and then like the next
Yeah.
sepal, I think we were waiting, and I sat down next to you talking to you and brought it up to you. I just thought that was funny. I don't know where that came about. I don't even know how I came to that conclusion. It just it's funny. It was funny to think about. Yeah, I
I
don't
can
know.
tell you where that came from. Like, okay, so
All right.
for me, I'm a very competitive person, right? And so how I kind of play is like I show no emotion. Whether it's good or bad, I think it's the ultimate flex. Like, especially if you gog someone or you win a point and you don't say anything, you're like, damn, that guy's so good. He didn't even give me the time of day.
Holy
You know,
shit, the
he didn't
aura.
chirp back or anything. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's
He's just
honestly what it
farming
was.
my aura.
And so we had never beat Brotherhood. And as like the player coach, I was always upset because I was like, fuck those guys. You know, those guys think they're so good. And then I remember you were a fellow Dorito player, and there were times that like I would shoot you, but there would be times where you would shoot me, right? More often than not. And I was like, that guy, he freaking shoots me. He wins tournaments and he doesn't say a single thing to me. And Brandon's like, no, he's literally the nicest guy. He likes you. And I was like, really? Because he hasn't said a word to me. And I was like, because in my head, I'm like, yeah, if I just owned you, I'm not going to say anything. Like, we're not friends. You know, so I saw it as like, all right, he's my competition. He's who I'm going to be playing heads up. And he's not talking to me. Yeah, I'm not talking to him because like if he thinks he's too good for me, I'm too good for him. You know, and so that's why I never really said anything. I was like, no, I don't need to talk to him. I know I'm better than him. You know, so like
Mm.
that's kind of like the inner dialogue that's happening in my head where I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to talk to you. And like I feel like that's an easy tell for me. Like if I feel like threatened by your like
Aura.
it's probably because like I already had that internal beef that I played you in my head where like it's like, all right, we're going on. Like I think I'm better than you, you know, so I'm not going to talk
Yeah.
to you. And so that's literally
Jesus.
where it came from. I knew that's where you were going with that, but I was just like, yeah, this fucking guy, man. He's not even going to talk. He doesn't even like nod, doesn't smile, nothing. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do the same either. Um,
Fuck that guy. Yeah.
and so yeah, I remember when we did start talking, I was like, you know what, this guy's actually really cool. He's super nice.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
yeah, I don't know. Again, yeah, never said a word. It was just, I remember walking on the field. I was like, I feel like I'm getting eyes from this guy. What the fuck?
yeah, dude. And it was so hard to get mad at you too because you never said anything. it wasn't like I could be an easy cop out and be like, yeah, that guy's just arrogant. He's an asshole. You know, he's always chirping. Like, you didn't say anything, so there's nothing to get mad at. So that's why I got more mad. I was like, look at this guy.
How dare him
Are
not
you
say
kidding
shit to
me?
me?
Yeah. I was like, what? All right.
That's funny. That's funny.
So,
Damn,
yeah,
I don't think I.
was
Yeah,
my,
no.
That's
that was my
amazing.
first memory with you.
That's
With
so
brotherhood,
fucking crazy.
dude. And to this day, to this day, that still pisses me off. I remember we played for first and second. I was totally taking the player coach role. And I remember when we got home and we were like breaking it down and everything, we're like, what could we have done? And I like looked at my dad and I was like, honestly, I got outcoached. I was like, I don't know what we could have done. I was like, we tried playing the pocket, they still shot us. We tried going wide, they still shot us. And what was frustrating too is like we looked over at those guys, and I love all the Brotherhood guys. And I was like, these guys are fucking hella old. They're out of shape. I was like, look at us. We're all young. We can go to spots that they can't. And that was also like eye opening for me too, because it's like, okay, we do have the speed, we have the athleticism, and these guys are literally sitting in dead zones and picking us off.
Mhm.
With experience.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
dude, if you line us up with like skill, speed, and everything, we should be winning. And that was like my mindset. And when I knew I had to change for the game, because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't,
Yeah.
because they shot us out. And I was so frustrated. And I think that was one of the games that I was playing with more emotion. And I also felt the pressure of everyone like looking to me like, what do we do? And I was like, I don't know. And there's very few times, like even with coaching, like with Pink, where there are very few times that I feel like I get out coached. And that was one of those few times. I was like, I hate this feeling. I don't know what to do, guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Those
yeah.
guys. God, I watching them play this last Sepple. I was like, God damn it! I can't wait till like I'm you have to force to take a step back and like my points drop and I can go play with them
You go
again. You
back
know?
on those
Yeah.
guys. I
Yeah.
would say that too. I'm like, Karen, how many years until I can play D4 again? And she's like, it's never happening. And I was like, what? I was like, I want to be like these guys. This guy played pro at one point. Like these guys played semi-pro. Look at them now.
Yeah,
So
dude.
many of them.
I mean,
It's
bro,
crazy.
just like what you just said, Brandon. There are actually so many of people that are like got like the taste of semi-pro and pro, but like at an obviously previous stage of the game. But you know, monkey see, monkey do type shit in paintball, right? And when your points go down after what is it? What's the age, like 40? So if you're over 40,
No,
your
45, I think.
45.
Yeah, dude.
Like if you're over the age of 45, at the end of every year they take away 10% of your points overall. I'm like, damn, if you're not winning, bro, you're losing hard.
Yeah. No, and I think it was Ronnie Dizon who said it, like in one of his podcasts, and it always stuck with me too, and that's why I was hesitant playing D3. Is he was like, if there's one piece of advice I can give to the younger crowd is like be great at the division that you're at, and like don't be in such a rush to move up. Like
Yes.
be in D4, but win a bunch in D4. Like know that feeling of what it feels like to win in D4 before you move up. Because like if anything, point out and then go up, you know, so you can enjoy it. And a lot of people are like want to get to pro, which there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like now that I look back, I I'm like, man, I really wish that I could play with my family again, or I wish I could, you know, play with these guys again. But the reality of it is I probably never will. You know, by the time I get down to those points, they probably won't be playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm at 9,000 points. To get down to 40 points would take many years,
Yeah.
many decades, you know? So, yeah, like enjoy the process, enjoy where you're at and make the most of it and stay down if you can. By all means, if there's an opportunity that you can move up and you weigh your options, go ahead, take it. But I mean, every action has a reaction, whether that's good or bad. So
yeah, VG taught me that like when I was first like making that like D4 D3 jump, and we were talking to VG about it, and he's like, dude, like I wish I took my time more, right? There's like I can't play with my friends anymore. Like once you get to the point to where you're like, oh man, I want to play the NXL so bad, like to where you're only playing the NXLs. Well, guess what, buddy? Eventually you're only going to be able to play the NXLs. That's it. You know, and it's like, I mean, being in
100%.
California, right? Got to go to Florida for it. Got to go to Chicago
Right.
for it. Got to go to Philly for it, right? Just to compete. So
You're traveling. Yeah, like once you get past, I mean, some leagues will have the Division 3, but really once you get past D4, you're traveling. So you
for
also
sure.
lose that luxury of being able to just drive 40 minutes, an hour, or whatever, play a tournament, and then be home that same day. The amount of money that you got to put in goes up, and then the chance of you staying with your boys decreases too. Like you're an independent contract now.
Yep.
You know.
When I wanted to make that move to DMG, I had a field that was like 50 minutes away from me, right? It still is 50 minutes, like 50 minutes away. But I got to the point where I'm just like, this isn't what I want. I want to play against people who are going to fuck me up to where I can, like you said a long time ago, be a sponge, learn to where I'm the guy fucking them up, right? And it just got to the point to where my local field didn't have that level of competition where I had to start traveling just for decent practice. And that's a hard thing to get, especially, I mean, there are a lot of places in, like, I don't know, fucking Mississippi. I don't know what the Mississippi paintball scene is like, but probably ain't the fucking deepest. You know what I'm saying? Right? I know people in Carolina talk about how that's like a struggling place right now and all that BS, but it's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy. Like, look how far we've come, dude. Like, Tyler saw me blow out my knee, and now look at us. He's fucking Ricky Bobby, and I'm just a fucking Black Knight. You know what I'm saying? Noble Knight. Brando's the executioner that executes all of the great people.
The bad people.
The bad people.
Sure.
I know you guys are trying to wrap up, but I had a question for you guys.
Absolutely, bro.
Like,
dude, this is your show. Don't worry about
it. you guys have gone through the camp. You know what it feels like to actually be in a camp, and what it was like when paintball was popping. Like, do you think paintball is dying, all right, do you think paintball is dying, and why do you think the way that you think?
It's very interesting. I really wanted to talk to Mike Hinman about it because he was talking a lot about it on the Sheldon podcast that I was listening to him on. He was saying, he's like, there's a thing where it's like to run the WCPPL and the USXBL, it's like he is investing so much more than he's getting out. And I think that's what every single field owner is trying to obviously be a business and make money, obviously.
100%.
But in the game of paintball, I don't think paintball, or at least right now, especially on its bounce back, is the kind of thing where there's a ton of money in it right now. Right? I think it's one of those things where you kind of have to invest into the lower divisionals right now to make it to where they feel like it's worth it for them. Right? Because a lot of divisionals are like, well, I mean, I'm going to certain tournaments and, the fucking prize pool is fucking $75 and a fucking handshake. And I think that the way how we can especially do it as players, and I mean, we all work at the CPL, right? The way how we can especially grow it is, and I can work on this especially myself, is these people, this is like their NXL, right? Until they're up to that stage. And that was a huge thing I realized this last CPL when I was kind of watching them, like the finals just happened to a dramatic fashion, one-on-one with Mike Ryan and all that bullshit. But I was like, man, this is some people's World Cup. Like, this is what some people have been practicing for all year. Like, is this moment right here at for me, my practice field. And it just really brought it into perspective. And I think that's the way we can grow is by treating every single divisional like they are someone.
At the World Cup.
Yeah, at the World Cup, like, and treat them as if they're somebody. Because I feel like some people, some lower divisionals, they think they're like, it's not like certain, like all these big companies are sponsoring us, because obviously sponsor has completely lost its word in paintball, right? So I think that's the way how we can do it, is slowly start to actually like treat the teams as if they're famous in a way, right? The sports is small enough. Why not?
Outside of like teams that are established, like I think paintball is dying in the sense that, like, you're not seeing a lot of new young faces. Like, you're seeing a lot of people step away from the game, but you're not seeing like that next generation come in and be the little Steve-O's, the little Brandons, because right now you guys are like, you are the semi-pro guys, but you're the semi-pro guys that other people look up to. But what I'm trying to get to is like there aren't those little kids who are looking up to you
Well,
guys.
I agree, and the
They're
way how
they're
we,
just, you know what I mean?
I agree, the way how we
Like
fix it.
why do you think that is?
I think the way how we fix it is because there's a lot of people where there's this stigma where when a new guy runs a team, for some reason people don't listen to him just because he's the new guy. Does that make sense? I think we need to accept these people with complete. I mean, complete trust sounds fucking insane when it's like I'm trusting this guy with everything I have, right? But you know what I'm saying? Like we need to be more inclusive with them, where it's like, hey, like if you're not at the semi-pro level right now, dude, like let's invest into you. Like this is where you want to go, and you can see yourself doing it, and you know you can do it. Like let's take a risk on that. And I think a lot of people are not taking risks on. They're like, oh, my buddy's been playing for 30 years. We'll have him on the starting five instead of the kid who's obviously been fucking blitzing out at every single practice. If that makes sense. I think that the new guys aren't getting enough reps. They're not like they're not getting enough reps because they're going to these tournaments. They're not getting any spins. They're spending all this money, and they're like, well, fuck, what am I doing this for?
Right.
That's what I think.
And I could agree with most of that, probably. I also believe that without the pro team there, the pro team was a draw, right?
100%.
And then with having the pro team along with the rest of the DMG camp, that was even a bigger draw for players, right? Once the pro team got relegated, was another year we had all the camps, and then a year after that is when it was DMG
Dissolved.
camp kind of yeah,
Which is complete bullshit.
so but it again, it was a draw, right? It had the building blocks so that we within the camp can see the beginnings of new people, new players coming up. I think they're still around. They're just not apparent. There's look, yes, we are semi-pro. We're in the area with for NXL and everything. We are the highest division team around. But unfortunately, like our rankings aren't necessarily showing it. Like I think if we were like top 5 consistently, it'd be a thing. It'd be a draw, right?
Because people would want to be a part of that
with,
success. Like, oh, I can add to that for sure.
Yeah. But I could see why some people may think it's dying if it's just, within our little circle, our little bubble. But that's all we're kind of looking at. I think elsewhere, other bubbles, other pockets, it's still growing. It's just our bubble's not the big major draw anymore.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I agree, and that's one thing that, like, at least I, without a doubt, try to practice on when it comes to the social media aspect of it. When it comes to, I want to make sure that when we're posting stuff, it's like people are like, oh damn, like that's an organization, like let's go be a part of that, right? And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people are lacking is that community through the online source. Right, and I think another thing is people are just fucking pussies and kind of just antisocial, and nobody wants to like reach out. Nobody wants to be like, oh, like no, you never see a paintball Instagram with a comment being like, oh, hey, I'm looking for a new team. Like I would love to get into this sport. You never see that, ever. But I mean, you look at a fucking pickleball reel on Instagram, and people are like, oh, like dude, like I. What's the best way to get started in pickleball? And everybody in the comments is like, oh, the ball. Well, they're actually either 100% hating or 100% like, oh, this is the stuff you need to do like, in the right direction, right? You don't see that at all in paintball, at all. And I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking yapping, but I think that the street ball days definitely do help because they help add structure to people who maybe have played on a team with zero structure at all. Like having a coach kind of like, hey, go here, do this job. I think that's really growing the game because it's teaching people how to essentially play the game the right way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know what you don't know. So what would you say, Tyler, overall? How are you growing the lower divisionals and bringing up the young kids to the pro league? How do you get people to be like more like yourself?
I try to get back. And like, I mean, you guys will catch me out there every now and then. Like if I have a couple extra pods or something, like I'm finding someone new that I could be like, hey, here's this paint. You know,
I was that new
I think
kid
I
one
did it.
time, actually. I was that
I
new
did it with
kid.
you guys too, and I was like, yo, here, you guys just take this paint and like, um, I don't know. For me, that was like a huge thing. Like I remember when we lived in Oakdale, we went to Extreme, and at the time, Rich Shelford was playing there. And I remember he saw us and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to get a point in with us?" And we played with Excessive. And at the end of it, he was like, "Hey, you want some paint?" And he like literally dumped all the paint out from his loader into my loader. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool! That guy just gave me free paint.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't have to pay for it." And then
This is a
like,
lot.
and I think that's where like I I went to mentality of like holding people on a pedestal who were above me, is because like, okay, they did all this work, you know, they're the ones that I got to learn from. And so when I started DMG camp and I saw the pro guys, I was just like in awe. And I mean, some of the guys did give back with like information, but no one really gave back in the sense of like, oh, here's some free stuff, you know, like, or here's some free paint like Rich did. And I told myself, and I was like, if I ever become pro, like I want to be different. I want to be the one that gives back, you know, because like, yes, we get free stuff, and you know, we go through gear which is like used to us to where like we can't use it again, but to someone else
They
that's
can
like
use that
brand
for
new,
two
you know?
years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like people go
The average
multiple
paintballer is a
years
fucking
on the
dog dirt.
same lens, right? And
Yep.
I'm changing a lens every practice. And so to me, I feel like it says something huge when I give back to the community, because I see that little kid in me, in them, and I don't want them to be like, that guy's an asshole. Like he's a pro, he gets all this and that, and he doesn't, you know, he's too stingy. Like, I think the first person I gave back to was my dad, because he paid for everything for us. And so my first pro gun that I got, I gave it to him, and he's like, "What's this?" And I was like, "It's yours." It's like, "Thank you." I gave him my first Pro CS3, and it said Impact on it. So,
Amazing.
He's still shooting it.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, he's still shooting it. But yeah, I try to give back when I can, and you know, like just grow sport, because at the end of the day, I'm still human. You know, I do think that there should still be a disc, like it should still be known that like, hey, I'm pro and you're D5, you know, but I don't think it's to the point where it's like, don't talk to me, I'm pro, you're D5,
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know. I mean, I feel like that's why a lot of people, I don't know, take for granted my presence at CPL, but I think it's just because they see me so much, and I'm just I like to think I'm a down to earth person, that people are like, no, that's Tyler, you know, as opposed to like, oh my God, that's Tyler Panlilio from Impact. So like when you guys go around and you say it, I'm like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, you know. But like
My
that,
girlfriend loves
I
saying
try
that, dude. I'm like, oh, she's like,
I
oh, who's
try
your
to be
guest?
as grounded as possible.
My girlfriend's like, oh, who's your guest? I'm like, oh, you know, just the Tyler Panilio. She's like, the Tyler Panilio of Edmonton Impact? You know, it's just funny because she just knows to use my mannerisms sometimes. And plus, dude,
Yeah,
it's one of those things where I guess to me, I'm not trying to like fucking glaze, but I will glaze for a second. Dude, seeing your fucking journey is incredibly inspiring,
I
right?
appreciate
You
it.
came through the same camp. You're coming to the same camp that I did, right? That I am in right now. And
Mm.
you obviously proved that it's not impossible. And that's one of those things that I hold near and dear to my heart, where it's like, whenever I see you succeed, like I think it was maybe 2 cups ago in the finals, dude, you were playing a
Yeah,
majority of the fucking points, and we were in Impact's pit,
Mhm.
and it's
2023.
like,
Yeah,
dude, I was like, fuck yeah, like I don't want Impact to win, I wanted you to win, bro. Like I'm a
yeah,
U fan, not an Impact fan. I'm a U fan on that team, right? So seeing you succeed and seeing you get those spins, and I mean, my personal opinion, obviously, I think you deserve to play a little bit more. That's obviously my biased opinion, but yeah, dude, your story is absolutely inspiring, and anybody who's young that is trying to do those same footsteps, dude, do not give up. It's completely possible.
Yeah.
Like we have a guy literally live on our show right now with us that did it, and he is on arguably the best team in the entire world right now. right? So all of it's doable. You just have to not give up. Raw dog the runs.
Eat Kit Kats.
Yeah, eat Kit Kats, no
Eat
Twix. No Twix. You know, and
suffer.
Yeah. And imagine yourself being on your deathbed, seeing all of the things you possibly could have been. That's a big one. Yeah. I hope everybody listening to this thinks about that tonight. You know?
Yeah.
So.
But no, I really appreciate both of you guys. And not just for having me on the podcast, but like just all my time meeting you guys. You guys are really great human beings, and people I actually enjoy spending time with and seeing at the field. So I thank you guys.
I appreciate that, brother. But before we go, where can people find you? How can people find an update on your life? What's your socials at? Do you want to give anybody a special shout out?
My main social is my Instagram. It's tpan_11. That's where you'll be able to find most of my reels, photos, and little shorts. You could also find me on Strava, Tyler Panlilio. You're trying to beat the fitness journey as well. But yeah, I would shout out my family, the Ninjas, the DMG Camp, Capital Edge, Dave Baines, Brian Duffy, and everyone along the journey to get me to where I am now. You know, it's one heck of a journey that's still going. So, yeah.
Right. It's absolutely beautiful. And, you know, one of those sponsors we have in common. Special thank you to Capital Edge Paintball Park. If you're in the Northern California area, make sure you guys go on over to Capital Edge Paintball Park, get some good spins. It gets pink, grass-fed. If you want to do maybe some hyperball, I know the Street Fighters are there. Where there's
City
DMG,
of Trees.
right? There's City of Trees.
DMG.
Devious Dogs, right? There's a ton of people over there, right? So if you're in the Northern California area and you want to get some game in, come over to Capital Edge Paintball Park. Tell your friends about it. And then shout out to Welts Clothing. Make sure you guys use code FTS for 10% off. Save yourself a little bit of money. Get yourself some new straps, shorts, shirts, jerseys, whatever you could possibly want and need. Welts Clothing Co. Make sure you guys use code FTS for 10% off. Really helps a lot. And last but not least, Hormesis Productions. Thank you, Hormesis, for sponsoring this show. We really appreciate it. Everything you guys do for the game of paintball. When it comes to grow paintball, I instantly think of the way Hormesis is doing it by putting it into the mainstream area, by putting it on potentially. Apparently the Iron Kids could potentially be on Hulu, is what I've heard. Right?
Oh wow,
that's pretty freaking big, right? To get something like that on there. But before we sign off, Brando, give me a cool guy of the week.
Cool guy of the week.
Boom.
Just sent it in the chat.
Let's see
This is James Kilser.
James Kilser.
This is a former U.S. Marine. Served time in the Middle East.
Oh, I've seen this. Yes.
Saw some combat. Yeah. It was like what does it say? Almost 4:30 in the morning. Dude, just getting some energy drinks for the day, and
Me at practice.
The cashier saying bye. 3 guys come in with guns, trying to rob the gas station. The fucker like reacts so quick, grabs the gun from the first guy, and the other 2 immediately drop their run. They sprint. They're not about it. Gone. Leave their friend, and he wrestles the gun away from the first guy and holds him down until the cops get there. If you watch the video, it's instant.
Badass.
Yeah,
super fucking badass. You know how
reaction's
composed you have to be in
instant.
like a situation like that?
Oh yeah. He's been in more dangerous situations.
Yeah, for sure.
People actually shooting at him,
Yeah.
ready to fire the gun. So, James Kilser, cool guy of the week. Love this shit.
Hell yeah. Okay, Brando. All right, you got a code word of the week?
Ooh. Hey, so achieve your goals, right? Go out there, achieve all your goals, right? And set new ones. So we're going achieve your goals.
Achieve your goals. You heard it here first. So if you're listening, you got it this far in this episode, make sure you guys send us a message comment on Spotify, comment on YouTube. What was it again, Brando? I already forgot. Achieve your goals. Achieve your goals. Achieve your goals. I remember. And
put it in the chat.
One thing real quick before we go. We are going to be doing in December a Dungeons and Dragons episode where we play
Ooh.
Dungeons and Dragons live on the pod. I have hired a dungeon master, and we are having one of our elite media guys come in. So we're gonna have a dope 4-way. Yep, you heard me, 4-way of Dungeons and Dragons. Of Dungeons and Dragons, I clarified. Right?
Yeah.
So absolutely. And if you guys are listening to this, we love you guys. Make sure you guys rate the show, subscribe, ring those bells, do all that stuff. Thank you to Tyler Panlilio, our guest, for absolutely killing this show. It is a lot longer than what I thought, but dude, you killed it, bro. Thank you so much for being on here.
Guys.
Seriously.
Thank you, Ty.
So if you're listening to this, we love you guys. Bye.